National Safety Equipment Company or visit their website, www.jvisec.com. JV International Safety Equipment, Guam's leader in occupational and environmental safety equipment. Call 688-9524. JV International Safety Equipment, located in Harmon Industrial Park.
Hafude, konnichiwa,
Patois. Ciao. Enter for a chance to win the 76 Circle K World Cuisine Giveaway. Be one of 3 lucky winners to win a passport of free food from around the world at over 15 different local restaurants. Just stop by any 76 Circle K, purchase $35 or more in fuel to get an entry form. Drive by today and taste the world with 76 Circle K's World Cuisine Giveaway. Visit 76circlekguam.com for more details. Some conditions apply. Circle K, take it easy.
Fox News 20.
Evacuation orders in place and a major roadway closed from a wildfire in Santa Barbara, California.
The Alisal fire started this week in Santa Barbara County and has grown to nearly 17,000 acres, prompting evacuations along the coast and forcing the closure of the 101 freeway. Fire crews say winds are the main driving force, specifically in this area of California. They're called sundowner winds, and crews say they switched directions in the afternoon. Wednesday, gusts got up to 35 miles per hour. While California firefighting resources are dedicated to this fire, as well as 2 others that are much calmer than the Alisal, the National Interagency Fire Center reports there are 46 large fires burning across the West right now. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
This month's oil spill off the Southern California coast didn't spill as much oil as first feared. The Coast Guard now estimating about 25,000 gallons. The cleanup and the investigation continue. Even pumpkin season isn't immune to supply chain issues. Fox Business's Grady Trimble is in Morton, Illinois.
We're getting to the bottom of what's causing this shortage in some parts of the country, and the farmers here tell us they actually had an okay year. Not great, but average, and so there are plenty of pumpkins to go around. The Illinois Farm Bureau tells us there might be a delay in when you actually see canned pumpkins on store shelves, and once they do hit the grocery store shelves, you might be paying more for them, and that is because the cost of the cans have gone up, the cost of labor has gone up as well.
Farmers do report some weather-related delays in this year's harvest. The St. Louis Cardinals fire their manager, citing philosophical differences with Mike Schilt, who is heading into the final year of his contract. The firing comes a week after the Cardinals lost to the LA Dodgers in the National League wildcard game. Recapping Wall Street, the Dow, the S&P, the NASDAQ, all up more than 1% at the close. Oil prices top $81 a barrel. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
As we get back to business, Docomo Pacific is ready to keep you connected. Introducing Business Bundles Plus. Build a customized bundle with the right internet, mobile, TV, and phone plan for your business. Pay for exactly what you need and nothing you don't. And the more services you add, the more you save. Plus, you can rely on Docomo Pacific's fastest, most reliable network and 24/7 customer support. So build your own bundle and save today with Business Bundles Plus. Call 671-688-2677. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
Everyone has a busy schedule these days, and sometimes we forget to schedule our routine dental checkup and cleaning. Don't neglect your dental health. Schedule one today with Dr. Robert Yang and his Smile team, conveniently located at the East West Business Center on Marine Drive, Upper Tumon. Call us today at 647-8702 or 3. Again, that's 647-8702 or 647-8703. We make smiles happen.
Always here to help you. This island is our home. Through the years, we've been a friend to the neighbors we have known. Now we're banking on the future. Their services to choose. Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place roots.
Today, it's 6:06. I'm Mana Silva Tyron with a look at your local news on the point. There were 3 more COVID-19 related fatalities reported this morning by the Joint Information Center. There have now been 222 deaths. Sadly, one of those, a 4-month-old baby boy who was pronounced dead on arrival at the Naval Hospital. Also, a 64-year-old man who was vaccinated, also said to have died related to COVID-19. He had underlying health conditions as well. And a 21-year-old woman also died with COVID-19. She was unvaccinated and had health conditions. Meanwhile, 56 people were admitted to the hospital. There were also 95 new cases that were counted out of 996 people who were tested on October 13th. 30 of those cases were identified through contact tracing. To date, there have been a total of 16,690 officially reported cases of COVID-19. The CAR score this morning is at 21.6. Meanwhile, the COVID testing continues this morning at the Teeds and Carnival grounds as well as at the Southern Regional Health Center. The vaccinations also taking place at the University of Guam, as with they're also offering booster shots at UOG. And the booster shots also being made available at the village mayor's offices. Now, eligible individuals should contact their mayor's office to schedule an appointment. The next clinic up will be at the UMatic mayor's office on Monday. Public Health has put out some guidance for Halloween and All Souls Day gatherings. No surprise, residents ages 12 and up have to be vaccinated in order to participate in any of the events on both days. Social gatherings still limited to 25 people outdoors and 10 people indoors. Mask wearing, of course, will be highly encouraged, as well as social distancing, washing your hands, and limiting crowds. The guidance also prohibits intermingling among other groups. Public Health did offer some guidance with regard to All Souls Day and Halloween events. For All Souls Day, they're suggesting, among other ways, to hold virtual gatherings or stagger your visits to the graves. And for Halloween, they say curbside trick-or-treating is safest, as well as drive-by events or setting up self-serve treat tables outside in order for trick-or-treaters to take their surprises. Well, more news right after this.
Come try Guam's original Chamorro restaurant with Pica's Best 5 years running. Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro. Experience Chef Peter's candied salmon over scallion coconut rice, octopus tinactac, Chamorro platter, and their award-winning gourmet hamburgers. Or if you're looking for something healthy, try their keto-friendly menu. Come and enjoy Mezcla's half-a-day service at their Hagåtña and Grand Plaza Tumon location. Call their Hagåtña location at 479-2652 for reservations.
$17 million in COLA payments is out this weekend for GovGuam retirees waiting for their cost of living allowance. The Department of Administration transferring the money for 2021 COLA payments. The payments are out well in advance of the November 1st deadline to have them paid. The administration touts fiscal responsibility in being able to pay those COLA payments early. And the Guam Daily Post reports that the Guam Visitors Bureau seeking quarantine exemptions for travelers fully vaccinated with the Taiwan-made COVID-19 vaccine called Medigen to help boost arrivals. GVB's President Carl Gutierrez sent a request to Public Health this week saying Palau has accepted Medigen, and so has New Zealand. Currently, Guam does grant quarantine exemptions to incoming travelers who are fully vaccinated with U.S. FDA vaccines as well as AstraZeneca. According to the Post, Gutierrez, who recently returned from visiting Palau at the invitation of the country's president, said that the inclusion of Taiwan's Medigen to the list of approved vaccines for Guam's quarantine-exempted program will be in line with Guam's ongoing talks with other island nations for forging regional cooperation for tourism in the midst of the pandemic. And the rising fuel prices could now affect the cost of things that you put in your shopping cart. Shipping company Matson announcing this week that it will be increasing its fuel-related surcharge by 2.5%. Effective November 14th, the surcharge for its Guam CNMI service will increase from 37% to 39.5%. For Micronesia service, it'll increase to 43.5%. And for Hawaii service, it will increase from 36% to 38.5%. Matson, in an announcement, says that the increase is due to a sharp and sustained increase in its fuel prices. And those are your top stories here on The Point. Here's Ray with your weather.
Yeah, and there's no good news on the fuel surcharge and the fuel prices. I was looking at West Texas earlier. That number is over $80 a barrel. It's $81.34 for a barrel of West Texas crude. TAP is trading just a hair lower than it was the other day, $84.66. But still, both of them primary movers, literally primary energy sources for Guam are trading in over $80 a barrel. I could make a point
Let's
about
Bill Brennan.
I was going to say, let's go back a year when West Texas crude was trading for $35. But we had the mean tweet president, and we had to get rid of that guy so we could enjoy prices up the way they are. And another story I might read to you a little bit later on from the guys over at CNN, basically saying that this is, forget about what the new normal is with masks and vaccines and all of that stuff. The new normal is that there are going to be shortages in the grocery stores. There's just so much that you can put in those containers, and the containers are getting more expensive to move all over the place. So, you got a little spot in the backyard that you might be able to grow stuff. Real Joe, what would you like to grow in the backyard that you could eat just all the time? Where you could just, I never get tired of eating this, so I'm growing a whole lot of it in the backyard. What is it, Real Joe?
Big eggplants, Ray.
Big eggplant.
Yeah, the big one.
Like in the emojis on your phone.
Sir.
With the big Montecillo Tyrant.
Empanada.
There you go. Hey.
Someone show me how.
Malunga, I think I'm going to. My neighbor's got malunga, and I keep looking over at that tree. And you can eat that. You can put that in everything.
You never get full off of that.
But it's all protein. It's supposed to be like a super dense protein thing.
Yeah, if I can't pronounce it, Ray, I'm not going to eat it.
There you go. All right. Well, we can pronounce empanada. 6:13 in the morning. All right. Here comes the weather for today. Oh, by the there's going to be a lot of sunshine today. I just tell you that right now, regardless of what the weather forecast says. It's all sunshine today because today is former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez's 80th birthday. Happy birthday to you, Uncle Carl.
Day.
Happy birthday.
We got partly sunny skies today. Scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms are possible. South winds up to 20 miles an hour. Daytime highs today should be about 87 degrees. For tonight, mostly cloudy, scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms. Partly sunny again tomorrow with scattered showers, isolated thunderstorms. So now tomorrow night, they're saying partly cloudy skies are going to be moving in with just a hint now of isolated showers. On Sunday, we're talking grill marks, baby. We're talking grill marks. This is the one that you've waited for. Partly cloudy, isolated showers, except for mostly cloudy, isolated showers and thunderstorms later in the afternoon for Guam. But I'm going to be wishing that stuff away. South winds 5 to 10 miles an hour. Sunday morning becoming light. Highs about 88 degrees. Heat index today is going to feel like 92. Sunrise this morning at 6:11. Let me get to the important part. Sunset tonight. Do you know where you are going to be for sunset? Will there be the hint of, I don't know, a marination, chamorro marination with the soy sauce and a little lemon powder in there and salt and pepper? What else do you put in yours? I like to use oranges in my marination.
Oh, that's nice. That's an Asian, too.
Oh, my God, mine is just with you. It's Carl Gutierrez's birthday. You can put whatever you want to in the marination, darn it. 6:15 in the morning. That's news and weather together brought to you by Bank Pacific, banking on the Pacific for 67 years.
What's for breakfast at KFC under $3.95, you ask? What's for breakfast at KFC that's different than the other guys, you ask? KFC's chicken wrap, sausage wrap, the Colonel's chicken congee, chicken fried steak, sausage biscuit and gravy, and biscuit sandwiches made with KFC's original fluffy biscuits. All for under $3.95 and all only at KFC. Plus, with waffles and the Colonel's chicken fried rice, we've got something for everyone.
So visit KFC for breakfast today. It's finger-licking good.
Over the past 5 years, confidential data and network breaches have doubled for small and large businesses, resulting in huge financial loss. At GTA, our multi-threat security bundle is a cost-effective solution monitored by our team of experts, ready to detect known malware and stop new evolving cyber threats before entering your network.
Protect your business with confidence and call 671-644-1000 or visit gta.net/enterprise.
Hear that,
GTA, we start with you.
It sounded like he was ending the commercial about 3 or 4 times, right? Okay, but it's over now. It's not going to just leap back up on the air. And guys, one more time. Hey, GTA, this is where Nate Tonight works now. Huh? Can we say that?
Yes.
All right, portions of the program brought to you by American President Lines APL, a global presence with a local home. Also being brought to you by the guys over at Nissan, and they are in brand new shipment of Versas, Sentras, and Kicks out of the port in the shop right now. 0 down, APR as low as 1.99%. There's a limited inventory, so check them out today. Either visit the store visit the showroom, or check out NissanGuam.com on your approved credit. Some conditions may apply. You'll love the Versa automatic emergency braking system. You want to talk about great safety features. The Sentra with the Safety Shield 360 standard, all trim levels, and the kicks. Great starter car. You get somebody just got a brand new driver's license and learning how to do it. You want to make sure that they're safe, but they want to make sure that they are seen. So incredible exterior styling, double V motion grille, LED headlights. They want the technology in the dashboard, same as you. So Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, all of that in there. Get a test drive with your favorite junior driver today at Nissan Guam.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters.
I know him.
Call now. 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
At 6:17 in the morning. I love this. I love this graphic. I'm going to keep this graphic all month long. I'm going to send this to people. This is great. Somebody posting a picture of some of the quote workers on Squid Games and saying this is the DPHSS Halloween Task Force. So be on the lookout for these guys on Halloween night to make sure that they can go out there and enforce all of the Grinch that stole the Halloween guidelines that they've got out there. And you're going to go, Ray, you're always going to find something to complain about, aren't you? Yeah. I was taking a look at it because I'm from the day when here was the Halloween guidelines: stay out of the street, idiot. That was pretty much it. Walk in the sidewalks and just don't go into anybody's house unless you know them, unless mom and dad have taken you to the place before. Pretty much those were the guidelines now, and now they've got all the guidelines about mask wearing and fun, innovative ways that we're going to celebrate Halloween on an almost individual basis.
And the guidelines did point out that your Halloween mask does not count as a protection for COVID. You have to wear your face mask. But don't wear both at the same time because it could limit your breathing.
Ask the doctors about the efficacy of the masks, and they just go, yeah, whatever. It's just a little bit more of the narrative that we're going to push. I think if I was a kid, I'd boycott this, and it's going to be a Sunday night anyway, right? We've already determined that it's going to be a boring Sunday night Halloween because everybody got work the next day. It's not like we've moved any of the holidays around so that we could turn it into great kind of middle of a 3-day weekend kind of thing. So I got a feeling it's just going to be there will be some of the usual diehards that are going to be going out there, but I think for a lot of people, and then you get laid down with multiple pages of guidance for not just Halloween and All Souls Day. I think a lot of the kids just go, "Mommy, I'm tired. I just want to go to bed with my SpongeBob SquarePants outfit. Can I just go to Nana's house and get the candy? It's going to be better." If you're going to put all that much effort.
I've never heard a kid say, "I'm tired. I want to quit Halloween."
Yeah, well, it's COVID times. It's pandemic times. For heaven's sakes, the kids.
They're going to start Friday. They're going to want to start Friday.
That's the way. If I would do it that way, I would start banging on doors and say, "Did you go base? Did you go shopping on base? I don't want any of that cheap, mom and pop store candy that I know that you're buying for everybody else. I want you to go on the base. I don't want fun size either. I don't want fun size. I want full size Hershey candy bars. I want the big ones.
You like the big one, right?
Are they full size? We had that. Who were we talking? Was it yesterday?
They're not full size anymore.
No, I was talking to a friend. Came by visit me at the radio station yesterday. We were talking about all of the changes and the full size candy bars aren't even the full size candy bars. They're the same price as the full size candy bars, but note that they're not as big as they used to be when we were growing up. When we were growing up and we were kids, this generation's getting ripped off. Anyway, welcome to the program. Excuse the mess. It is the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point. My name is Ray. Thrilled as usual to be here with you, and thrilled to end another incredible week with great broadcast talent. Real Joe Cruz, my producer here on the program, who today is going to get Natalie Eganella Pretty Face.
Egelnoff.
Is she going to be on
Egeldof.
Did you?
Gandalf.
Do we have blue check marks?
I believe so. We had to work. I talked to her last night. We had to work out the time difference. We're 16 hours ahead, a day ahead, and she couldn't figure it out. So I had to use the world clock on my phone and
I was going to say,
figure that out.
So she'll call the radio station about 8 o'clock tonight?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Well, I don't know.
She's going to just
It was midnight over there when we were talking, so she must have been like having
Did she have
a
a
few
nice
drinks.
voice? Did she have a nice voice?
She did. She's been on radio, TV, and she's been in the business. So
gotcha. All right. Well, if with luck, we'll spend some time with her. I'm not, it's not like I'm, angling for a date or anything like that. But there's a lady, fairly attractive, nice voice, does radio, wants to come out and do a live broadcast from the beach. And frankly, if she was going to do a live broadcast, one of the first things that she would do would be to reach out at a radio station and see, do you have the tools? Do you have the technology, headphones, boom microphones, and significant internet technology for me to be able to send a feed back to whatever radio station that she's going to be doing her feed to. Did you talk about that at all? Do we know where the...
No, we didn't get into technicals, Ray. But I did tell her there's a nice place we could go. And
shoe size? Birthday?
Watch the sunset.
Zodiac sign?
Yeah.
Blood type?
I told her you were a Taurus, man.
622. Yeah, I know what that means. She's going to go, so he's got junk all over his house. Never mind. 622. Montecito Tyrant with all the big news and headlines and stuff that we're going to be talking about today. Were you able to find anything in the cavalcade, the spectrum of news this morning that you think you might be able to get passionate about?
No, but you know what I did find on Facebook was somebody selling a 3D mask of the front man. I saw it on Guam Grab, so I'm looking for it because I can't find it anymore.
I don't know, Ray.
I don't know. What is the front man?
I don't know.
The guy in Squid Games.
Oh, the
Squid
one with the
black
guy.
face. It's a 3D.
Yeah. Okay, I see what you're saying.
With a 3D,
with a 3D printer.
Yeah.
Oh, I know the guy. I know a guy with a 3D printer that can totally do that for me. Andrew, I'm reaching out to you later on today. He's probably listening right now. No, he's got a 3D printer, and
Andrew, the key guy.
No, different guy. No, we don't want him getting a 3D printer. The guy, the key guy, we don't want him getting a 3D printer. But the other Andrew that I know has got a 3D printer, and he's using it for some interesting stuff or boring stuff, whichever the case may be. I think he's working on a Civil War chess set with a 3D printer. I know he's done whistles and things like that.
Wow.
And I think he's also working on some Playboy store kind of gadgets. That I'm just you got the technology. There's plans that you can download all over the internet, and it's just a question of the what kind of, I don't want to say thread that you go in, the filament, I think is what it's called when they do this 3D printing stuff.
I have no idea, man.
It looks like a glue gun that just goes back and forth until it actually makes the form.
And everybody, maybe that's the hobby that you need to enrich yourself in. I was a very close personal friend of ours, George Chu, and who we will now refer to as Dr. George Chu, has written an article in today's opinion section.
Smart guy, though.
In the today's opinion section of the Pacific Daily News.
Any cuss words?
None. There's not one cuss word. Here's the question I've got for you, George. Who wrote this for you? Because there's no four-letter words in here at all. Although there's a couple of spots where you might want to put a four-letter word or two as well. But he's making some good advice about how to deal with the pandemic fatigue that we are all, I suppose, in here these days. And one of them is limit your COVID-related news intake so you won't be overwhelmed by negative emotions. We all want to stay updated, but sometimes too much news is counterproductive. I know exactly the feeling, but that's the business that we're in. Then he talks about grab maybe a new kind of hobby, or maybe if you had interest before COVID-19, go back to those. I'm a big ham radio guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I haven't had a chance to be able to put some of that stuff together. But maybe if I ever get tired of talking too much on the radio here, I might actually get the systems in place at the house and be able to broadcast to different parts of the world and let them know just how screwed up or let them know it's just as screwed up here as it is where they are.
Yeah.
Right. I think that might help
Radio
everybody.
Norway, man, and say what's going on with you guys.
Dude, with the bow and arrow, dude.
What's up with you guys?
There's a hobby to get into, right? Can we just do they sell that at Hornet? Do we have bow and arrow at Hornet?
Do. They're not outlawed yet, Ray.
At Kmart or
Someone's
something like that?
writing a bill right now.
Some of that's which one of the do-gooders over at the legislature is going to try to get in front of that dangerous and in the wrong hands bow and arrows? You're going to have to be 18 years of age or older to be able to buy a bow and arrow, and you have to get in line.
Safety course.
Safety course with the gun guys. All right, 888-825-5888-TA, okay, is the telephone number. Let me see. Is there anybody online with us here this morning, Joe? Let's find out.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always
thing. My mic's not open.
People all know the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name.
Yeah, they used to be Easter eggs. You know, in a couple of, I don't know, dozen years, next century or something like that, there'll be kids in university broadcast, media courses, and their instructor's going to say, what you got to do is you got to find a guy from the 21st century. His name was Ray Gibson, and he used to do a show on, and it's all archived on on Facebook and YouTube, and you need to find some of those quirky moments in the show that really showed what the zenith of personality radio was on Guam in 2021. Yeah, sorry about that. I didn't realize the microphone was open. But at least I wasn't singing along to the song.
Whispering sweet nothings in your ear.
The modest look of Corona on her face.
Oh, my God. What's that? Rico B, number one here this morning. Oh, we haven't put together a time or a date for it yet, but I'm toying with the idea of a Squid Games pew with the guys. So those of you that you got guns and you have way too many bullets, and you're thinking, hey, I need to throw about 25 cents worth of bullets down the range about every fifth of a second. We're gonna see if we can do one of those pandemic pews. Although the theme it out will be the Squid Games pew.
It's perfect, man.
Right? Well,
yeah.
I mean, did you see the guns that they had in the Squid Games? No, I'm serious. That ought to be one of them. The 1911. I want to see if I can get somebody coming out with those 1911s, because they're good-looking guns that the guy with the front man had. I thought that was fantastic, and some of the other
45 man.
Anyway, so Rico B and I are talking about doing that. Colin Clark, already online here this morning. And see, Ted Lewis saying it's 2:20 in the afternoon in Wyoming right now. She's awake.
She's awake.
Ted's talking about the girl.
Yeah.
Is that where she's from, Wyoming?
No, she's in Philly.
In Philly?
Yeah.
It's not this. Is that the same? Stuff. Okay. Ted, who's awake then? Who are you? Who's
awake?
Is this part of a complex fantasy that you've been working on here, where you're writing things to me to say on the radio? She's awake. She's out there in Wyoming somewhere listening to this feed, going, Ted. This is the secret message. This is the love triangle thing. Ted sends the message. I repeat it on the air. She hears it. She goes back to Ted, and they sing the never-ending story, like in the last episode of Stranger Things. You know which one I'm talking about, Real Joe? No, because there's all right, so distraction here for me just for a second. Stranger Things 4 is coming out, we believe, April of 2022. And I wanted to be prepared for it. I told you I'd restarted the series in the last few days. So I'm all done with season 1 of Stranger Things, and I'm work my way up to season 2. And it occurred to me, I don't remember how season 3 ended. So I wanted to go and get all of that, and one of them was the use of that great Lamal song, "Never Ending Story." You're singing it in your head right now. Let me see. Pam Duvall. Oh, Real Joe already asked her out. Keena McCausland says, Friday Point family. Bertha Mazza Cruz is online. Joe Cruz thinks you want your bitcoins. That's it, man. She's after your riches. Sarah Lake says, Ray's shirt looks frisky or could be Halloweenish.
Yeah, let's talk about that, man.
It's a purple spotted wild animal. You know what these are reminiscent of? The flowers on this are reminiscent of the little butterfly flowers that Pam Duvall gave me. About a year ago, and Pam, I want you to know,
still alive.
Still alive.
Wow, Ray.
Still alive.
That's huge, bro.
I've got a spot in the house. I don't know how well that's going to grow out of the pot. So I'm wondering, Pam, if I take it and put it in a patch of just dirt, will it help fill it in? Will it become good ground cover? That's one of the questions I've got. Now, Mana, I didn't realize that we were all going to be together on this, but Mana likewise is also wearing a similar colored shirt.
Oh yeah.
Likewise,
nice.
we're
you know
why?
Get the memo.
Former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez's birthday. Couldn't find my yellow shirt. Sorry about that, Gov. Brandon says, I like how Ray is positive on Friday and like pit bull. Yeah, it could be something like that. The point of the Friday shows here, Brandon, if you're new to the program, the rule is no frowny face Fridays. I mean, there's all kinds of news and headlines and stories that you could look at and just go, grrr. but it's Friday, and we've already had a grr week, and so I like to end the week on a high note, so that everybody can go into the weekend, feeling pretty good about Guam and pretty good about themselves. Gerald Young online wishing a good morning to everybody. Sarah saying happy birthday to Governor Carl, wishing you more happiness, health, and love. I tell you what, the guy's still getting plenty of all of them. I get the opportunity every once in a while, usually about at least once a month, to hang out with him and family and friends. And number one, he's still a great leader among all of these people. But the amount of love and affection that he gets, especially from his family, is just incredible. You want to talk about? I don't care how you define success, but when you're around somebody like that, and you can feel the love, admiration from among his friends that are lucky enough to be in his presence, that's special. That's how I want to be. That's how I want to gauge my success.
He gets so much love because he gives so much love. I mean, the guy is just such a kind, generous person. That
he's going to get my retaining wall fixed. That's the deal.
Truly, anytime you go to Uncle Carl and just say, I need something, or I need help, or
a new retaining wall, the roof's cracked,
he and
whatever.
Auntie Jerry have just been that kind of people.
Forever and ever.
Ever and ever.
And that's why he was the governor 18 times. Brad Wood, I see Brad Wood's there, and Ken Augustin, Governor Carl, maguf cumpleaños, giha, anin mafanak you gosa. Thanks, Ken. Appreciate that. Now everybody knows that. I made it through the años, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I did that
well
part
done,
good.
Man.
Okay. Ismail, today in naval history, U.S. naval support activity in Da Nang, Vietnam is established during the Vietnam War. It becomes the U.S. Navy's largest overseas logistics command. And there might still be guys there. Ted Lewis, I'm awake. No drinks yet. It's 4:28 in Philly, Real Joe. Closing in on happy hour.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Maybe you should get her called in before happy hour. Do we know if she's, like me?
I think she's listening, man.
And Dennis Larson says, wait 10 minutes after the show comes on, and then say good morning. All right, Dennis, you're on. Biba Junie Blas and Jess Bautista, good morning, my beautiful sister, Mary Michelle. Jane Sasai is online saying happy birthday to former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez. She is no stranger to the front yard, everybody's favorite front yard in the world. Jerome McDonald, I like your shirt, Ray. How much will you sell it to me for? You know what, dude? You can find this. Go to Stitch Fix. I'll send you a link on Stitch Fix, and it will look like I'm part of a pyramid scheme. But if I send you, no, I'm serious. If I send you a link, it'll save you like $25, and I get 25% or $25 off, or percent. I can't remember on my next Stitch Fix. So I'll send it to you, and then they can get you shirts like this as well. And the answer for some of the others is yes, they sell men's clothes where I shop as well. Bill Cruz saying, "Hoi, café, lai biba cumpleaños Carl Gutierrez." Brandon, is that Joe Biden incognito? Let's go, Brandon. No different, Brandon. Thank you very much. Dennis Larson saying, Hoffa, it's Friday. Ken says, good job, Ray. I'll work on that, buddy. Nate Horn challenging me to say it again in Chamorro. I think I'm going to pass that opportunity a little bit later on. Ed Massey and Mary Tess online, and a bunch of others. And that's just the guys that are over on the Facebook side. YouTube Live is also likewise going to be cranking today. Keenan McCausland is checking out the Bad Boys. On that side, I got Walter Gray and others. Still no sign just yet of James Howard, but I'm sure he's lurking out there somewhere. 6:34 in the morning. 888-825-5888 TALK. As we got started, Mana showed me a screen cap of something from Candid. Mana, did you ever figure out what that image was? Is somebody holding some woman back?
No, it looked like somebody holding a man back. I couldn't figure out what it was. I didn't look further.
Okay. All right, my first blush, I thought it looked like a woman that was really agitated about something.
Is that Pobutsky?
I don't know. I don't know who this is, but it looks like they want to fight.
Did you pop into that thing yesterday, Ray?
I did not pop into. I did not pop into that thing yesterday.
Oh yeah, it looks like a fight.
Yeah. Cousin Troy, put him on the list because we're going to want him
right
to
away,
say.
sir.
We're going to want him to say happy birthday to Carl Gutierrez as well. But anyway, so lots of stuff to talk about here this morning. There's a lot of bad news, hard news on the front page of both of the newspapers, heralding the death of a baby linked to COVID-19, just 4 months old on this. And obviously, hearts go out to the parents of the kid. Showed up dead on arrival at Navy Hospital, the 220th COVID-19 related facility. And a reminder that this is capable of touching everybody. So take whatever precautions are necessary. Other stories here. Cop of the Year helps to keep 80 pounds of meth on the street. You know, I think there ought to be another. There's got to be a cop out there that's been able to keep 80 to 100 pounds worth of donuts off the street.
Yes.
I
celebrate
cops and
that,
donuts.
man.
Come on, it's low-hanging fruit. It's come on, guys. Give me a break here. 6:38 in the morning, the Ray Gibson Show continues with news and headlines with Montesilva Tyron. We'll take a look at what's happening on your roadways this early. But in the meantime, hit the theme. Montesilva Tyron, what happened?
There were 3 more COVID-related fatalities that were reported in the JIC this morning. Sadly, though, one of those was a 4-month-old baby. The 2 others, a 64-year-old man and a 21-year-old woman, also died. Meanwhile, 56 people were admitted to the hospital with 95 new cases counted out of 996 people who were tested the day before yesterday. Meanwhile, the Department of Public Health has put out some guidance for Halloween and All Souls Day gatherings. Of course, residents ages 12 and up have to be vaccinated in order to participate. They do say that social gatherings still limited to 25 people outdoors and 10 indoors, and they urge mask wearing to also take place at all of these gatherings. Now, Public Health did offer some guidance for All Souls Day and Halloween events. They say that virtual events are the safest, and for Halloween, they say curbside or trick-or-treating or drive-by events would be the safest. Meanwhile, $17 million being circulated after COLA payments were put out. Department of Administration saying that the early transfer is for 2021 COLA payments, and this is well in advance of the November 1st deadline. And those are your headlines right here on The Point.
Trying to figure out who this looks like. It's got to look like somebody. I mean, it's a little bit of a Roman nose in here, but then those lips looks like they've sucked empanadas before.
Oh, yeah.
Don't they got that look like, you know, this the empanadita ready lips. I trying to. I mean, just take a look at the overall face. I mean, but underneath, from the nose down, that looks like a Chamorro dude's mouth.
Yeah, it does.
But
man.
which Chamorro dude? Will Castro.
Yes.
I'm thinking Will's guy, skinny Tyrone Titano.
There you go.
What? Anything?
Yeah.
Are you coming to something?
No, man.
All right, tell you what, I'll leave this up on the screen for a second. In the meantime, you're more than welcome to hit me up on the
This is Gary
Facebook
Sung
Live.
is selling it on Guam.
Oh, I know Gary.
Sell, buy, and trade.
Yeah. Okay, I know.
Gary Sung, he's selling them. They're about $30 each.
You guys remember back in the day, there used to be a website that everybody went to on Monday mornings. Got Balatsu?
Oh, yeah.
That's the guy.
Oh, really?
That's the
Okay.
guy.
Wow.
That's the genius behind Got Balatsu. He runs an advertising agency and a couple of other things. It doesn't surprise me that he's got the technology to do something like that. And Gary, if you're listening to the broadcast this morning, we need to bring back Got Balatsu. We need to bring it back. Although now Mana sent me, I don't know, Mana didn't send me. We were talking about a video. Joe, don't hit me up with the audio on this, but apparently this is the video that you were referring to that we showed is up on the screen right now, and it looks like there's the beginning of some kind of an altercation, and the piece, the words that came along with this, the narration was it's from our peeps up in Saipan. Now, if you're watching the video, and I don't know, it's obvious that somebody was trying to film without being obvious that they were trying to film. And I'd like to make this point. It's 2021. If you're going to film a fight or some kind of weird street event, just take out the phone and film it. If you could do me a favor, vertically hold it like this. Hold it sideways, because it makes for a better presentation in the vertical media that is television. So number one, do me that favor and always shoot your videos like this. And number two, don't hide it behind the mirror of the car or whatever. Just go ahead and put it out there. Look, I guarantee that these people are aping it up because they know their cameras. I guarantee that these people are acting out like they're in a movie or something because they know that there are cameras out there. Now, they might give you a look and go, hey, sup? Right? They might, give you that look like, what are you doing with the camera? And just go, no, don't, never look at the camera. Never look at the camera. It's like a porno thing. Don't look at the camera. Just keep doing what you're doing. I'm going to go ahead and document this for you, okay?
And action.
Yeah, exactly. And action. World star.
Yeah.
Start off everything with the words world star. And then, go. That's the way people are. I swear that's why most people, I think, are acting out these days, is because somewhere in their brains they feel like there's a camera on me and I'm going to be a star. I couldn't possibly stop what I'm doing now because the process has already begun. The documentation has begun. The filming has begun, and all of that stuff. 20 away from the top of the hour. Tell you what, we'll take a quick look at what's happening in traffic and more as the Ray Gibson Show for Friday continues.
There's a steak with your name on it at the new Longhorn Steakhouse. Flo's Filet is an exceptionally tender center cut. The New York Strip is a steakhouse classic, and Longhorn's famous outlaw ribeye is well marbled and fire grilled. Longhorn is ready and waiting to pour you a margarita and make you a steak. Longhorn Steakhouse is open daily from 11 to 10 p.m.
Ding, 6:41 in the morning, Ray Gibson Show until 10 o'clock in the morning, and then it's going to be the beginning of my weekend. But I can't tell you how excited I am. You want to talk about a great start to a Friday morning show. Line one, Congressman Mike Sinicolas. Be them again. Are you calling to be the first person to announce that you're running as a candidate, that you are definitely running as a candidate for the upcoming gubernatorial election against Lulian Guerrero and Josh We Hate the United States Tenorio?
Circumstances being what they are, I'm sure the subject that we're going to talk about is only underscoring the need for something like that to continue to be considered because I guess we can just get right into it. We're talking about this money that the mayors are supposed to get, and it looks like we're dealing again now with the same kind of, money shell games that have really just not been serving our island well. And there's just a lot of things now that are raising a lot of red flags on our side, and there's a lot of questions that need to be answered. And this is just more fuel to the fire, really.
So you've seen the BBMR report that we were talking about yesterday?
I have not seen the BBMR report. I'm looking at my reports on my side of the money that's been distributed to the various recipients of American Rescue Plan funds and how those monies have been broken down based on how the legislation allocated it for those specific cost centers.
Well, I was talking about. Well, I'll send you a copy of the BBMR report that, in fact, the alert listener found it and sent it to me. And I hope maybe there's a I like to think I know how to read a spreadsheet, but I'm looking at this thing. I'm going to try to get Les Carlson on to explain it. It says that Guam has been granted awards in excess of $1.484 billion. And there are 1.3 that have been received, according to this paperwork, but only $283 million has been expended or encumbered as of August 31st of 2021, leaving over $1 billion worth of available funds as of August the 31st of 2021. So I always like to say, the governor's sitting on $555 million, but as it turns out, she's sitting on more than double that. Why are we not expending these dollars?
We're supposed to be, and it's troubling. And yeah, it's definitely.
Well, if we don't spend it, we got to give it back, right?
And that's the alarming part, because the $553 million is the state local funding that was provided from the American Rescue Plan via the Treasury. The remainder amount is all the other 6 different public laws that we passed that allocated various coronavirus relief monies for all these various spending purposes. And so all of these monies, to include the state and local funding, have different clocks that are ticking. And all those clocks are going to be coming to roost, within the next few years, some of them much sooner than others. And now I'm feeling like we're going to have to go in and police all of this now and use all these resources and all this effort for really no good reason to figure out why is it that we have, $1 billion sitting there. And as the clock ticks, what is going to come? What risks are going to further exacerbate that we are going to have to return money that we really are in no place to return right now?
As an example, $300 million has already been set aside, seemingly. I'm not sure whether she can do that yet, but $300 million set aside for a new hospital facility. Whether or not that's going to be allowed, is it possible that while we're waiting out whether that's allowed, that money might expire in terms of its availability to the community, or other dollars may expire that may be available to the community now?
Yeah, the expiration is the real risk. Of that $300 million, if she's referring to that as her state and local allotment that she received, I believe the timeline for expenditure is around 2024, but I need to go back and recheck that. But
you'll be governor by then. Don't worry about it.
I mean, like I said, it just underscores the risk factors for considering something like that. Because as these clocks tick, we're running the risk of this money not being utilized for the purposes they are intended. And we really are in desperate need of getting, I mean, if we have $1 billion sitting there in an economy like this, in an unemployment situation like this, with all of these other things that we need to get off the ground, because we got to be a viable tourist destination with a good-looking destination, and there's all these resources to start doing that, and we're not doing it.
Dave Tadenko and Simon Sanchez would be very excited to hear the comments exactly like that. They're holding out hope that the governor and working perhaps with the legislature, imagine that, might find a way to get them $75 million so that as these green shoots of the hospitality industry start resurging in the community, that the tourists actually have some place to go to, that they might be able to go and ride one of Captain Guam's carabaos or hit Dave Tadenko's Valley of the Lati, or any number of these package tours and arrangements that are in danger of going under unless somebody reaches out to help them.
Yeah, there's so many different spending needs out there that are really just coming out and advocating for what their expectations are. I know that the restaurant industry is very much interested in trying to see if there's a way to also access local funding in lieu of us being able to refund the Restaurant Revitalization Fund. I've been discussing options with them on how we can, try and get some local money to front load that and offset it if there's any kind of federal reimbursement. So there's just a lot of industries out there that really are in desperate need of help, and if we have $1 billion sitting there, I just don't get it.
Well, among other things that I'm sure that I hope would be of priority in the House and in Washington D.C. is what feels like runaway inflation. No doubt you are also looking at the same things that many of the financial press had been reporting on yesterday. What are we looking at? 5.7% increase in the consumer price index across the board. All industries, all product categories are seeing incredible increases. We're looking at West Texas crude. That's the American benchmark, now trading at $81 plus for a barrel of that. This time last year was $35 per barrel. The shipping companies announcing that there's going to be an additional surcharge on fuel for shipments out in this part of the world, 37% to 39.5% of every penny that gets of every dollar that gets spent is now going to be spent on the fuel surcharge to import things. And you know this because you're from here. We're at the end of the supply chain. So imagine all of the surcharges that have been added to the items that are in those containers as they pull into port here.
Yeah, there's just so many variables impacting the inflationary bottom line. I mean, we also have the shipping delays that are causing the difficulty in getting goods to market, which are resulting in higher prices because demand is exceeding supply. And there's just so many variables out there that are really causing concern and making us look at the inflationary aspect. And that's not helping, all of the political gridlock that we're having to deal with on trying to get the reconciliation package through and all the help that we're getting for Guam on that, or the infrastructure package that we're trying to get through and all the help we're getting for Guam for that. Because now, the spending with respect to the inflationary realities right now is just making the argument so much harder for us to be able to secure additional spending authority for the kind of things that we're wanting. So it's just really complicated, and it's a huge headache right now that we're just trying to manage.
I thought it was interesting. We got a couple of statesmen in Washington D.C. with Jimmy Moylan's recent trip to go visit you, and you're out there. Of course, we got Josh Tenorio makes his way to the United Nations, and I don't know if you've had a chance to review different parts of the speech that he prepared and delivered on behalf, quote, of the people of Guam. That was while in the beginning somewhat thankful of the United States and the American taxpayers for their largesse in bailing out this community during the COVID-19, the pandemic panic that we've had around here. They took advantage of the opportunity to sit in front of the United Nations and complain about our, quote, administering power and their segregation of the worker community so that only foreign skilled labor can work on their side of the fence, despite the fact that Tsubaki Towers has been built. Parts of it were built with that very same foreign labor, and talking about American policy policies like that one here that have doubled the price of construction here on Guam, notwithstanding what I think is the current reality, which is Jones Act #1, and then we've got the cost of the transportation and the cost of the raw materials. I think that contribute more than America's political stance on our self-determination. Your thoughts on Josh and the speech over at the United Nations?
I think that if we want to constantly create a narrative for injury, we can definitely try and find ways to do that. But the reality, like, for example, let's use the foreign worker reality. Guam is not dealing with a restriction on foreign workers that is not being applicable to the rest of the country. There are communities throughout the United States that want to be able to bring in foreign labor, and they can't. This isn't unique to Guam. This isn't just the United States saying you can't bring in foreign labor. And despite that, the quote-unquote administering power actually helped us by allowing us the exemption to bring in foreign labor to work on our military construction. And while you can try and paint the picture that that's actually a disparity, that's actually an exemption that we're getting that nowhere else is really able to afford. And so we're being helped by receiving those exemptions. And how does that help us? It moves our projects along. It allows the money that's going to be spent here, the taxes that are going to be collected here as a result of those projects, to actually be realized in our coffers. So that the exemption for foreign workers on the base is not an injury. It's a benefit, because everywhere else in the country is still having the same restrictions we are in accessing foreign labor. But like I said, if you want to try
I'm trying to figure out what did we ask them to help us with that they said no to, because it seems to me that that's all we got to do is say, hey, we'd like to use some foreign labor on this project that's going to help rebuild 1.5 miles of Marine Corps Drive from the old Pizza Hut all the way up to the airport. That my understanding, by the way, also federal dollars that are going in to pay for all of that. That's not our money here, and so it wouldn't surprise me if the Navy said, yeah, the military are going to use that road too. Yeah, go ahead and use foreign labor on that.
Exactly. And so not only do we have the exemption for being able to use foreign labor for the military project, but the quote-unquote administering power is going above and beyond to try and stretch how they can redefine that exemption to be more helpful. So again, if you want to go and try and create a narrative for injury, you can. But why are you doing that when it's been very, very accommodative and it's actually been supportive?
I don't know. It's our way. We just want to impress all the people, all the big shots at the United Nations, and then go watch Cats or Hamilton after that, or something like that. Also, worth pointing out that we are not necessarily in control of the shipping around here. Neither is Hawaii or Alaska. We are all in the same boat, and Puerto Rico, among others, to name a few, with the Jones Act that we've got here. Hey, any chance there's the conversation that needs to be had around here because of the nature of the surcharges here? Is you suppose there might be a way to get us out from under this Jones Act for a little bit while we've got the COVID and while we've got the price of oil trading over $80 a barrel?
We can try. The Congress, when it comes to Jones Act exemptions, is just a real difficult nut to crack, and it has to do with the politics going all the way back to unions and their political
shipbuilders, et cetera.
Yeah, and so like Puerto Rico, for example, when they got hit with Hurricane Maria, they were desperate for an exemption, and they got a very small window for it, but it really didn't amount to much. So we can bring the point to the table, but it's gonna be a huge uphill climb to even try and get some kind of exemption on the Jones Act for that. But the good news is that we still have the Maritime Security Program that is allowing for us to still have a competitor coming into market, APL. And the federal government has actually been fighting to make sure that we're still able to maintain the APL servicing here, because Matson, the Jones Act shipper, is taking them to court trying to cut them out. And basically become the only Jones Act shipper coming into Guam because they don't want the Maritime Security Program authorizing a competitor.
Well, they make it sound like they're losing money. I mean, and there might be some issues here, but there was just a story. In fact, I believe I sent a copy of it to Cousin Troy, a story about how Matson has done very, very well in the past. They are seeing some decent profits as a result of their business, and notwithstanding the fact that there is a competitor in the same waters that they're plying. So I'm not really sure what the problem is, or why they've gone to Mazie Hirono in an attempt to solidify that position.
Yeah, the reality of the shipping industry is it's actually never been stronger. I have sat down with the shipping folks, and they've they even expressed that they were actually incredibly surprised. They were thinking COVID was going to turn into a huge downward trend in their volumes, and it actually was the opposite. Because what ended up happening was when things shut down and everything was on a just-in-time delivery type of system where there wasn't much warehousing, inventories got depleted so quickly that ships had to get filled up even faster. More ships had to get put on the water, and now we have ships backed up outside of the ports. So, yeah, the shipping industry is not in danger at all. They've actually been enjoying the most robust volumes they've had in quite some time.
Well, I mean, considering that everybody seems happy to pass along many of the costs to at the end of it, the consumers. That's funny. You talk about just-in-time delivery, and it seems like just a fond memory now for a lot of people. Now it's just get it on the ship, get it in a container, and get it out here as quick as possible. And if we got a warehouse, then we'll go ahead and warehouse as long as we've got the inventory here on Guam. Miguel, it's always a pleasure talking with you. Are you back in D.C. or are you still in town?
No, I'm still here. I got a long day, and what's looking like to go all the way into the evening, and so it's just. And I got to apologize to Joe Cruz. He's been reaching out to me for the last several days. I'm like, bro, I'm just slammed. I'll call as soon as I can. And then Friday came along, and I'm like, I got a call. So here I am, Ray.
Well, I appreciate that. And, Joe, you're doing a great job. Hashtag Real Joe needs a raise. But having said that, I'll beep you and let you know where I might be doing sunset tonight. With the vaccine mandates, I'm not allowed to go into bars and restaurants. And for a lot of bars and restaurants, they're actually happy to hear that news. But I might be doing sunset. I'll beep you and let you know where I'll be watching the sun go down a little bit later on. But before I let you go, because I know that he's been a good friend and a mentor to you all of these years. Today, former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez celebrates his 80th birthday. And if you've got a shout-out that you'd like to give, this would be the appropriate time.
Well, I mean, the governor, I always tell people, I was a backwards kid trying to figure out, just what got me going. And the governor, when I was a 19-year-old young man, actually got me my first foray into public service. And you can say he's 80 years old, but that man moves he moves faster than I do. So happy birthday, Governor, and the island loves you, and absolutely your congressman loves you.
Yeah, there we go. Miguel, I'll talk to you pretty soon. I hope we get a chance to shake hands while you're here.
Would love to, Ray. Missed you.
I'll go look. We are. Did you feel that?
Oh, man, I did, man. Right
that
here.
got me right in the feels.
Booty.
All right, so there's a congressman that touched a lot of ground in all of that, and remind me while the news is playing, I got to send him a copy of that report from BBM. I hope I'm reading it wrong. I'd hate to think that after all is said and done, with as much need as there is here on Guam, that we've got access to capital that we're actually not using. That was the whole idea: get liquid so that we could spend and take care of some of the folks that need it. Hospitality industry, yeah. Restaurant and bars, yeah. Mom and pop places, yeah. Individuals could probably use a little bit more help. 658 and change. Like I said, these are going to be interesting times. They're now telling you if you go to the store and you see something that one of your kids or somebody you know might want for Christmas, buy it now, because there's a very good chance that shelf is going to be empty by the time it gets to be November and December. You see something online that you want, buy it now. I'll give you an example. I got a note from the Bose company, and they've got a new kind of Bluetooth speaker.
Oh,
yeah. The thing, waterproof. You can listen to music underwater with the thing, and the new Bluetooth technology, and it's got a little ring on it, so you can put it on your backpack and stuff like that. Anyways, it's not very expensive, and I need a new one anyway, so I bought one. It's not even available at Crutchfield yet. You cannot buy, so I pre-ordered it so I could be first in line when the technology does become available, and get that when it becomes available. Simply because I don't know if it's going to still be out there. I think everything. We're starting to see limited quantities on just about everything. So if you buy it now, great. But frankly, if you buy it now, it just exacerbates the problem. It just means that the shelves are going to be emptier before November. Interesting times that we are going to have to suffer through here. But we'll try to make it together, huh? 7 o'clock in the morning, Montecillo Tyrant's got news right after Fox News, which is playing right about now here on 93.3 KUSG. This is The Point.
Rising prices and the supply crunch. Lisa Brady, Fox News. Questions the White House keeps getting a day after the president announced a plan for round-the-clock operations at a major port.
The Los Angeles Port Director, Gene Sirocco, said they don't have an exact timeline for moving to 24/7 operations.
We've got commitments from some of the biggest importers in the country, some of the biggest companies in the United States of America, and their ability to bring this cargo off our docks so we can bring the next ship in is really key. And it gets into that level of detail with the discussions we're having.
He said there are 62 cargo ships anchored off the coast waiting to come in, with more ships arriving shortly, and that a shortage of truck drivers and warehouse staff, where cargo is often held and distributed from, contribute to the backlog. Sirocco also said they hope the infrastructure bill passes, which would allocate more money to the ports.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Meantime, the White House says it's closely tracking the issue of rising oil prices and looking at options to improve energy supply around the country. A judge ordering former President Trump to give a videotaped deposition in a lawsuit brought by protesters who accused his security team of assaulting them in 2015, a protest that stemmed from negative comments about immigrants in the early days of the Trump campaign. Former Trump White House aide Steve Bannon could face a contempt charge over refusal to provide testimony or documents to the House committee probing the Capitol riot. That committee now plans to vote next week on a contempt report that could go to the Justice Department. A Marine awaiting his fate after pleading guilty in a court-martial over his public criticism of the Afghanistan withdrawal.
Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Scheller has pleaded guilty to all 6 charges during his court-martial at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. He was relieved of his command at one of Camp Lejeune's infantry training battalions in August after he posted those videos, which he made while in uniform.
Fox's Tanya J. Powers. America is listening to Fox News.
There's so much that's new with the Eat Fresh, Refresh at Subway restaurants that we can't possibly fit it all into one radio spot, but I'm gonna try. There are amazing new toppings like hickory smoked bacon, bacon and smashed avocado. Try your favorite sub on the new breads like the hearty multigrain wheat or the artisan Italian white bread. Not to mention Subway's thicker, juicier steak. That's all I have time for. You gotta refresh to be fresh. Only at Subway.
The U.S. Navy puts sailors on notice. They could get kicked out if they don't comply with the military's COVID vaccine mandate.
The U.S. Navy plans to give the boot to sailors who refuse to get the shot without a pending or approved exemption. The Navy in a statement saying those who don't comply will receive no lower than a general discharge under honorable conditions. It's a calculated risk for service members because that type of discharge could cost them some veterans' benefits. The Vice Chief of Naval Operations says over 98% of active duty sailors have received at least 1 dose of a vaccine. They must be fully vaccinated by November 28th. Steve Rappaport, Fox News.
He's been out of prison for 4 months, but Bill Cosby now faces a new lawsuit from one of his sexual assault accusers, who tells the Associated Press that Cosby's recent release factored into her decision. Lily Bernard says Cosby drugged and raped her in 1990 in a hotel room in New Jersey. The Pennsylvania Supreme Court overturned Cosby's 2018 conviction in another case. Another link with the West is removed in China as a tech giant decides not to comply with tighter censorship.
Microsoft says it will shut down its version of LinkedIn in China later this year and replace it with a job search site that does not feature a social feed or the ability to share posts or articles called InJobs. The tech company citing a significantly more challenging operating environment and greater compliance requirements in the nation. LinkedIn was the last major U.S. social media network still operating in China. A Chinese internet regulator telling LinkedIn earlier this year it needed to better moderate its content, giving reps a 30-day deadline.
Fox's Christian Goodwin. What if inflation isn't transitory? The International Monetary Fund urging the Fed and other central banks to respond quickly if needed, warning of rising threats to global recovery. Best day on Wall Street in months, the Dow up more than 530 points. And Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Half a day, this is Josh here at APL. Our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit www.apo.com.
Come try Guam's original Chamorro restaurant with Pica's Best 5 years running. Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro. Experience Chef Peter's candied salmon over scallion coconut rice, octopus tinactac, Chamorro platter, and their award-winning gourmet hamburgers. Or if you're looking for something healthy, try their keto-friendly menu. Come and enjoy Mezcla's half-a-day service at their Hagåtña and Grand Plaza Tumon location. Call their Hagåtña location at 479-2652 for reservations.
Everyone has a busy schedule these days, and sometimes we forget to schedule our routine dental checkup and cleaning. Don't neglect your dental health. Schedule one today with Dr. Robert Yang and his Smile team, conveniently located at the East-West Business Center on Marine Drive, Upper Tumon. Call us today at 647-8702 or 3. Again, that's 647-8702 or 647-8703. We make smiles happen.
Off today at 7:06, I'm Mana Silva Tyron with a look at your local news on the point. A woman was reportedly seriously injured in a two-car collision yesterday afternoon along Back Road to Anderson. The crash, according to the PDN, took place near the Mangilao Golf Course around 3:30 in the afternoon. Fire officials said that the woman sustained serious injuries and two others were in stable condition. All of the patients were transported to the Guam Regional Medical City. The condition of the individuals are not known this morning. Meanwhile, 3 more COVID-19 related fatalities were reported by the Joint Information Center this morning. A 4-month-old baby boy was listed among those who died with COVID-19. A 64-year-old man also died. He was vaccinated but also had underlying health conditions, as did a 21-year-old woman who died. She was unvaccinated, though. Meanwhile, 56 people are reported to have been admitted to the hospital. 95 new cases were reported out of 996 people who were tested the day before yesterday. The CAR score this morning is at 21.6. Meanwhile, Public Health has put out some guidance for individuals taking part in the Halloween and All Souls Day activities. No surprise, residents who are 12 and up will have to be vaccinated in order to participate. The rule on social gatherings still in place as well. 25 people for outdoor activities, while 10 people are allowed to gather indoors. Mask wearing will be required. As well, the guidance prohibits intermingling with other groups. Public Health did offer some guidance for All Souls Day and Halloween events. They say All Souls Day could be held virtually or stagger visits to the grave. For Halloween, they urge people to either do curbside trick-or-treating or drive-by events or set up self-serve trick-or-treat tables for children to take treats from. Well, more news right after this.
Top End Pest Control is who you call for all your pest control needs. Got a problem with roaches, ants, spiders, rodents, fleas, ticks, termites? No problem. They do it all. Top End Pest Control is a service-disabled, veteran-owned small business and HubZone certified, serving Guam since 2012. Call them today for a quote, 487-5657, or email topendpest@gmail.com. Check them out on Facebook at Top End Pest Control and give them a like. Top End Pest Control for all your pest control needs.
Well, the rising fuel prices could cost more for things at shopping centers. Shipping company Matson Navigation announced this week that they will be increasing their fuel-related surcharge by 2.5%. Effective November 14th, Matson says the increase is due to a sharp and sustained increase in fuel prices. Typically, they give customers a 30-day advance before prices are adjusted. And they say that they will continue to monitor fuel costs closely and adjust the surcharge accordingly. And from the Guam Daily Post, GVB is seeking quarantine exemptions for travelers fully vaccinated with the Taiwan-made COVID-19 vaccine called Medigen to help boost arrivals on Guam. GVB's president, Carl Gutierrez, told the board yesterday that he sent a request to Public Health saying Palau has accepted Medigen and so has New Zealand. Currently, Guam grants quarantine exemptions only to incoming travelers fully vaccinated with the U.S. FDA-approved vaccines and AstraZeneca. According to the Post, Guterres, who recently returned from Palau at the invitation of the president, said that the inclusion of Taiwan's Medigen to the list of approved vaccines for Guam's quarantine exemption program would be in line with our ongoing talks with other island nations, forging regional cooperation for tourism in the midst of the pandemic. Meanwhile, GVB's Vice President Jerry Perez said Korea is the low-hanging fruit that they're going to be targeting, with about 10,000 seats from 6 airlines anticipated to fly to Guam from around November to December. GVB anticipates hundreds of Korean visitors in the meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions, or the MICE market. From December to March, GVB is also working on familiarization tours for about 50 Korean travel agents in about November. And those are your top stories here on The Point. Here's Ray with your weather.
Still struggling to see who this looks like. This is the front man, as it were. Mona found this. Gary Sung apparently is printing these with his 3D printer. I know Gary, but I don't know well enough to ask him to make one for me for free. So I asked my buddy Andrew, who has a 3D printer, and I sent him a picture of it. He says, "Oh yeah, I can print those." And I said, "Great." He says, "It takes a long time." I said, "Halloween isn't until the end of the month. We're still got like 2 weeks between here and there." How many?
Cracking, man.
I mean, like a long time? Like, wow, it takes
like
longer.
a dot matrix kind of printer?
Than to make, your chess set or whatever? Or, is it longer than to make a cup of coffee? Does it take a day? Does it take 2 days? Is it like downloading pictures back in the old dial-up days? What define how long is how long? But anyway, so my buddy's he's actually gonna work on that. Apparently, you can go and download the file that you feed into your printer, and it will make something like this.
Very cool.
Yeah. So that would be cool. Now, what about? I guess the other question is, what about the other ones from Squid Games? The round mask with the different colors on them. Now, obviously, you can spray paint the colors or snow pick those things
I
on.
bet you Romeo could do it.
What's that?
Buenas and half a day. Do the mask.
The mask.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Bill
sure.
Joe.
Yeah.
Find Romy.
Romy, right away, sir.
Find Romy. See what the deals is.
Wake up, Romy.
It's Halloween, and the kids are going to want to wear a mask or something like this that they can put over their face. Number one, which is really, really cool, and number two, makes it so that the public health and social service Gestapo can't tell whether they're wearing a real mask underneath. A medical mask.
I think you
underneath
should wear your mask over.
Over that?
Yeah.
No, they take a long time to make, and arguably even my buddy Andrew's probably going to charge me for the filament to make something like this. Probably going to go, yeah, okay, Ray, I made this. It took me 18 hours and a roll and a half of the filament. So you have to replace all of that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Well,
we're friends. I don't think he likes me that much.
Gary's selling it for about $30, and they come in different sizes, small, medium, and large. So, so maybe $30 is what it'll cost you.
Trying to see what if the mouth there.
Can you breathe?
Joe S. Hey, I'm the front man. Joe S. Partly sunny skies today, scattered showers, and maybe on some thunderstorms. South winds 15 to 20 miles an hour. Daytime highs are going to be 87 degrees. Stand by one. Let me see if I can get some pictures up from Pirates Cove and another gorgeous sunrise coming up on the eastern side of the island. Is it there? Yeah, I got a couple of mottled clouds up in the sky. Otherwise, today mostly cloudy, scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms after sunset. South winds 10 to 15 miles an hour with daytime highs today about 77 degrees. Into the weekend, we start thinking about weather tomorrow. Partly sunny, scattered showers, and some thunderstorms are possible, but partly cloudy and isolated showers moving in on Saturday night. By Sunday, they say partly cloudy skies and isolated showers. There's a caveat in there, but you know what? I'm not going to read it. I'm gonna rebel against the weather service, and I'm not gonna read the part about isolated showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon, because that's gonna be Sunday night sunset happy hour, and I don't want to screw it up for anybody. Sunrise this morning. These pictures were taken around 6:11 this morning. Sunset tonight is going to be at 6:01. As in 6:01 at night. Are you kidding me?
We're losing light, man.
We are. What's going on? Hey, man, it's like that's my territory here, guys. 7:14, and that means that we'll all be in bed by 7:45 because we don't know what to do when the sun goes down. 7:15, that's news and weather together, brought to you by all of us here over on the morning show at The Point.
Fall in love with your new home this season by shopping Furniture Kathy Style's unbelievable deals. We've brought in new items and restocked on our best sellers to help you get your home ready for the holiday. We offer free design consultation and financing with up to 12 months of zero interest for you to get what you want and what you need for your home today. Follow us on social media, visit our website at FurnitureKathyStyle.com, or call us at 300-9590 for more information. If you're not buying from us, you're paying too much.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer staycation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,900 by calling Family Finance. Agana 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo at 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959. That's it. Portions of the program brought to you by American President Lines, a global presence with a local home. The team over at Take Care saying welcome home to our friends in the government of Guam and the retirees. It's nice to have you back in the Take Care fold. You get a chance to find out about the great health care plans and their off-island partners that are going to help keep you and your family as healthy as possible in the coming year. 7:15, Ray Gibson Show is also being brought to you by the guys over at KFC, and there's very good news on this news talkie station. It's permanent now. The new KFC fried chicken sandwich has found a permanent home on the KFC menu, and that means it's going to be there every time you go to the store. It means it's going to be there every time you call the drive-thru. It means every time you call and want delivery. You know, it's like, give me a platter of red rice, and can you also bring me one of those KFC fried chicken sandwiches? They come with spicy sauce. You can get that with obviously with the great KFC mayonnaise, crinkle cut pickles on the bottom. And you're going, why'd they put those on the bottom, Raymond? Shouldn't the pickles go on top? And the answer is, it depends. There have been numerous studies on this. And the way the condiments go on a sandwich, you can try this at your own house anytime. Or you can just experiment. Take any kind of sandwich and then flip it over and see the different profiles of taste as different parts of the sandwich hit your tongue at different times and in different places. And the experts over at KFC said, tell you what, we're going to get some of that crinkle cut closer to the tongue, and then it's going to be biting into that juicy piece of white meat chicken on the inside, the 11 herbs and spices, and the bread that they made. They got that delivered here this morning. In fact, they don't even start cooking the KFC chicken sandwich until you make the order. So it's hot and fresh every time you order. Find it today at the nearest KFC.
It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Some of you may note an inordinate amount of attention paid to KFC, and the fact of the matter is number one, they're among our favorite advertisers here at the radio station because they bring us free food. They bring us free food.
Oh, thank you very much.
And there's also a KFC within a mile of my house. And if I could walk a straight line, if I could cut through everybody's yards and driveways and buildings and things like that, it would be about a 3-minute walk from my front door to the nearest KFC, and about a 10-minute drive, unfortunately, but it's still reasonably close to the house. 7:18 in the morning, Ray Gibson Show until 10 o'clock or something like that. Real Joe's over there. He gets the phone when you call it 888-8255-888-TALK. Montesova Tyron with news and information, big news that she's talking about that is going to have an impact on your businesses and stuff that you sell in businesses and stuff that we buy in businesses. The fuel surcharge increase notification has gone out. It says, dear customer, effective Sunday, November the 14th, 2021, steamship carriers will increase their fuel surcharge by 2.5% in each of the following markets. Hawaii service increase from 36 to 38.5%. Guam and the CNMI 37 to 39.5%, and Micronesia from 41 to 43.5%. Again, this will all take place on November the 14th. And so, as we are fond of saying sometimes, brace, brace, brace. You kick that story in on top of the other kind of concerning stories about the cost of goods, the consumer price index going up as radically as it has in the last since Biden has been the president, really. And then you've got the shipping problems and things like that. My friend Trina sent me a video Actually, from TikTok. It's a fun place to get news. It's a video of one of the cargo yards out in the west coast of the United States, and here's you can see the gantry cranes. In fact, because that's where the guy's shooting. He's on top of a gantry crane, and he's looking down over the yard. And as far as the eye can see in this video, containers.
Oh, it's full.
It's full of containers. Maybe we've been talking to Charlie Hermosa about this. So, yeah, part of it is you've got these ships that are laying offshore and unable to get in because they've just now started talking about 24/7 service at these different ports. But even if the ports are cranking 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, unloading the containers, there's still a problem getting the containers off the yard onto trucks, onto chassis, and onto trains to get them away from the port facilities. And that is a huge problem. And just how big of a problem is it, in both directions of the supply chain? Obviously, we're going to find out. So there's going to be a ton of things that are going to be causing excuses for the prices to go up. I'm looking for a note here that I got from Ismail. And this might be the most concerning thing. A few months ago, or last year, I'm not sure, because it's COVID time. Everything, it's Groundhog Day, right? I was talking about maybe getting back into that wasn't a hobby, it was just a diversion from time to time. Among the things that I used to have in the living room at the house that I was fond of, I had a PlayStation and an Xbox.
Oh, wow.
I had a PlayStation and
You're a gamer.
I had a credit card. I wasn't a gamer. I didn't. I got the game. There were a couple of games that I wanted to play. The Tomb Raider among them that I enjoyed. But the kids, with the boys, they'd come over the house. They want to play games and stuff like that. So we'd get Halo and what's the other shoot 'em up? The Bang Bang Matayao, the World War II one, or just anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Call of Duty.
COD.
Yeah. So I had in my life, I had one of those. I don't have one now. And so I remember thinking, I should probably go get myself a gaming system, right? Ismail writes on the Facebook Live this morning, the shipping issue has caused a huge problem for Christmas shopping. There are no PS5s anywhere. And if this comes from Ismail, who has access to sacred technology and space age technology and wisdom, he says there are no PS5s anywhere. The last PS5 was sold October 1st at a Best Buy somewhere in the continental United States. There are hundreds of thousands of PS5s sitting on ships. It's possible, Ismail, that they're not on the ships anymore. They're in the port yard, and they're still in the containers waiting for somebody to pick them up and send them to the Amazon distribution center so they can mail it back to us here on Guam. And therein lies some of the problems. There's no PS5s anywhere. I'm wondering, eBay would be the spot, right? I mean, there's got to be somebody on eBay that be willing to sell you a PS5.
The price would be ridiculous.
And I'm sure the handling charges there on that particular transaction probably going to knock you in the ground. 7:22 in the morning. Jerry Roberts in the studio. Jerry, late yesterday afternoon or last month, I can't remember. I sent you a piece of news.
You did.
I did. Came from CNN talking about how there is the new normal now here when it comes to grocery stores and shelves and all kinds of things that we can get our hands on here. That the manufacturers now are saying we're not going to be able to, if it's there, buy it. But if it's not, get used to the idea that it's not going to be there.
There's going to be a time. We're going to go through it. I mean, this is a situation that's been caused by man, unfortunately, certain man, and here we go. I mean, we're going to find it's going to be some rough sledding for a while.
Nathan Meyerson for CNN writes, grocery store shelves aren't going back to normal this year, and they're talking about the supply chain limitations, things like that. Many of the country's biggest food makers are telling grocers they'll have limited quantities or a number of their products, including items like Rice Krispie Treats.
Ooh.
Rice Krispie Treats.
Now you've done it, Biden.
Attention. Sour Patch Kids.
What?
There are versions of Ben & Jerry's ice cream flavors that are not going to be available.
Now you think about one. Why would that be?
Well, with Ben and Jerry, I think they're in an interesting situation is in that they are a woke company now, and there are places where they pulled all of their product out of Israel, right?
They're anti-Jew.
Well, I mean, or pro-terrorist. I haven't figured it out yet. It's not one of the things that I've spent a lot of time thinking about.
Didn't they sell to somebody? I thought Ben and Jerry sold.
No,
to
I think they're still in the
still
game.
in it?
And in fact, we're quizzed by a reporter somewhere. I can't remember who it was, but it made all of the right wing Twitter people go, yeah, see, where they said, okay, we're not going to sell it in Israel because we've got issues with them. And then the lady is saying, well, what about here where they've got cop issues, or here where Black Lives Matters are protesting? Don't you think you ought to have the same political statement that you're making here? And the guy didn't have an answer for it.
Oh.
Ben or Jerry just kind of clammed up and said, yeah, that's an interesting question you got there. At any rate, we got McCormick Gourmet Spices. Marie Callender's Pot Pies are having issues with the throttling supply chains and other that are going to conspire
because
to
all
keep
of
these
these
items on the
things,
shelves.
all these products require ingredients, and the ingredients come from all over the place. And when you find you can't get things, all of a sudden you say, I can't make this anymore.
Okay, so or if you have the raw materials, but you don't have the manpower anymore to put it back together because everybody took a year and a half off, and we're getting unemployment assistant money, and now won't come back unless you look at them with $15 an hour and better benefits than the CEO is getting.
Well, 15 and upwards of 15.
Yeah, we're starting to see a whole lot of that. So there's a whole lot of reasons why this is going to happen, and Jerry Roberts makes the most important point. This is a man-made problem. It began with our handling of COVID-19 on a global scale, and now that we have to put all of the parts back together again, we find that they don't fit in the same places at the same time as they used to.
CEOs, top managers, they are earning their money now.
Absolutely. 726.
Better be good.
Jerry Roberts and the Extra Point. There is one other piece of news to pass along to you. Apparently, a 4.2 earthquake has hit the Camarines Sur. I'm sure I'm saying that incorrectly out in the Philippines. 4.2 magnitude earthquake rocked the Camarines Sur Thursday night. Based on the bulletin from the Philippine government, the epicenter of the quake struck 10:08 last night, located a kilometer north of Canaman. It was of tectonic origin, which means it was triggered by the movement of the Earth crust, a depth of 7 kilometers, according to the bulletin. They say that it was felt there, obviously, in Pili, Iriga City, and out as far as Legazpi as well. No word on any injuries, deaths that may have come from that quake, but certainly something that the volcano and earthquake watchers are keeping track of here this morning. It's 7:27. Jerry Roberts is in the studio. It's Friday morning, and the question is, do we have an extra point that's strong enough to take us to Monday?
I don't know.
Is he equal to the challenge?
I don't know.
Jerry Roberts, brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank.
Thoughts today on COVID, narratives, science, and how to move forward effectively. That's next on the Extra Point.
Raise your glasses for a toast, because First Hawaiian Bank now turns your meals into a reason to celebrate. Every dollar you spend on dining purchases, including fast food, earns you up to 3 times United miles. Simply use your First Hawaiian Bank United credit card and start reaping the most rewarding credit card experience on island. Terms and restrictions apply. Don't have a First Hawaiian Bank credit card? Visit any branch or FHB.com to apply today. With First Hawaiian Bank, it all starts with yes.
When's the last time you looked at your homeowner's insurance?
An easily overlooked part of covering our home is what's inside of it. Over time, we buy things we don't want to lose, but don't update our contents coverage. The smart thing to do is get the answers and level up our insurance to make sure we're totally protected.
That's the Insurance Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today by calling Guahan Insurance Services at 475-1162 or visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center in Tamuning.
It's been a long time since I've addressed COVID-19 in the Extra Point. Over the last several weeks, I've listened to doctors who help patients every day to beat this disease. We've seen politicians lay down vaccine mandates, supposedly in the name of science, but the science doesn't hold up. We've seen businesses threatened with fines and sanctions if they don't follow the mandates, and to force employees to vaccinate or be tested every week. We've seen business owners, managers, and politicians tell employees to get vaxxed or get out, again citing science that flunks the science test. Thankfully, resistance to this is growing, if you've been following the news. Ruling by mandate has risk, and the 2022 election We're just a year away. A few months ago, we heard politicians, the Biden people, utter the phrase pandemic of the unvaccinated. In fact, anywhere you find Democrats in charge, they were uttering the phrase pandemic of the unvaccinated. It pitted the vaxxed against the unvaxxed. Politicians said the vaccines would prevent infection from the Delta variant. However, reality got in the way. In Israel, Massachusetts, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and elsewhere, large numbers of vaccinated people caught COVID. In one area of Massachusetts, 900 new infections were logged within days. 75% of those were people who were vaccinated. It was similar in other communities. Politicians quickly dropped the narrative that the vaxxed couldn't get COVID. It was still the pandemic of the unvaccinated because they then said that very few vaccinated people would spread the virus. That also didn't last long. Studies have shown that both the vaxxed and the unvaxxed spread the virus about equally. Because the vast majority of Guam's people are vaccinated, if you catch the virus, it will probably be from someone who is vaxxed. Back to the drawing board on the narrative. No problem. It's still the pandemic of the unvaccinated because the unvaxxed, they said, transmit a much larger viral load than the vaccinated, making them far more dangerous to be around. That's what we were told. Well, that doesn't fly either, it seems. A new study from the University of California, Davis Genome Center and University of California, San Francisco shows no significant difference in viral load between vaccinated and unvaccinated people who test positive for the Delta variant. It also found no significant difference between infected people with or without symptoms. It's one of several studies which show no difference in viral loads. Science simply does not support the concept of pandemic of the unvaccinated. And I'm sure we'll continue to hear it. A catchy narrative, even disproven many times, shouldn't go to waste, right? The only thing they've said that has turned out to be accurate is what we've been told all along, that the vaccines prevent the worst outcomes from COVID-19. However, with vaccine efficacy waning, we've unfortunately now lost several people here in Guam who were fully vaccinated. And in every case, we hear the words underlying medical conditions. We've been hearing it now since the first person passed away with COVID-19. The fact of the matter is, it's never been pandemic of the unvaccinated. Rather, it's always been the pandemic of the unhealthy. Guam leads the world in the percentage of diabetes cases. We have major problems with obesity and numerous chronic diseases. Yet, why hasn't that been discussed at all? The only thing we've ever heard in the last year is get vaccinated, get vaccinated, get vaccinated. Therapeutics weren't mentioned until the last couple of months, when Gov Guam finally arranged to obtain monoclonal antibody infusion treatments. Then, they didn't order enough. I had a friend who needed it, but they had just run out, apparently, the day before. He didn't make it. You can't vaccinate your way out of this. We know that now. Guam has one of the highest vaccination rates in the world, and we're still in the middle of a long COVID storm with a high number of so-called breakthrough cases. The ones where fully vaccinated people catch the virus, and some of those are winding up in the hospital and having the worst possible outcomes. Former Guam Dr. George Macris, now practicing in Florida and treating COVID cases, says the virus is here to stay. Turns out the 1918 Spanish flu is still with us, along with many viruses we've long since forgotten about. That's just how viruses work. Therefore, the answer is a healthier Guam. We need to eat better, exercise more, and take supplementation that strengthens the immune system. I know that's not going to happen overnight, but if we get better at those things, we'll all be better off when the next pandemic rolls through. For now, we need to stock and continue to restock any and all therapeutic treatments that can help prevent hospitalization and deaths. We need to get infected people on early treatment plans. Don't tell them to just go home and isolate. That's not going to work. We can beat this menace, both individually and collectively, but it's going to take us living smarter and opening ourselves up to the opinions of scientists and doctors outside of Guam. Get rid of the echo chambers. People who are successfully dealing with COVID are the people we need to be listening to. These are the steps you take to live with a disease that is not ever going to go away. And that's all based on real science. That's the Extra Point. Be responsible and make something good happen today. For 93.3, The Ray Gibson Show, Guam Insurance Services, and First Hawaiian Bank. I'm Jerry Roberts.
At 7:35 in the morning, 888-8255. I think that almost an editorial version of the Extra Point, very thought-provoking and more, juxtaposes nicely to the editorial contribution in today's Pacific Daily News entitled "Fire Them." Because that's what you want to do with your longtime employees. That's what you want to do to the people that have helped build your business and build departments and agencies on Guam. Terminate GovGuam workers who refuse vaccine or regular testing. If government of Guam employees refuse to get the COVID-19 vaccine and decline to be tested weekly for the virus, they need to be terminated. And then it goes on to talk about Superintendent John Fernandez, quote, if they fail to test weekly, they will be out of compliance with the directive and will have to decide what to do with these situations. He said the answer is simple, according to the editorial board over at the PDN, and that is fire them.
Not based on science.
Well, not based on science.
I don't know what they're thinking at PDN. I just don't know where they are. They're lost.
I have no idea either. This is if somebody had threatened their First Amendment, the rights to their First Amendment, they'd go ballistic, or they should go ballistic. But here they are saying that people, you got a choice. You can either get vaccinated or tested, or you can get terminated. Those are your choices, and it sounds like that's a fool's errand if you ask me.
Base it on science. Get with people who understand this thing thoroughly outside of Guam and outside of the physicians. Or whatever they call it.
I'll give you Macris's number there.
I mean, not just Macris. I mean, Macris understands this thing very well. But there's others. There's just a ton of doctors outside of Guam and here as well that understand this thing on a completely different level. What we're doing here isn't working. It doesn't work. It can't work because it's not based on science. It's just not.
Jerry Roberts in today's Extra Point. You'll be able to find that at the GuamTraining.com. Maybe today, tomorrow. Over the weekend. We'll see. 7:37. Montesilva Tyron with the Look at News. Les Carlson standing by in the wings. We'll talk about a BBMR report that came out the other day. But first, let's find out what's going on in Guam and around town. Being brought to you by Ken and Karen over at Top End Pest Control. You got varmints in the house. Told you found a centipede. And I'm wondering if I find any more baby centipedes. I think Ken and Karen going to be swinging by the house. Also being brought to you by Auntie Lolita Kamet. And let me see. We had this the other day, and it's so good. A fantastic new breakfast sandwich waiting for you over at Burger King. But today is Friday, so it's Chicken Fries Friday. So check that out in the drive-thru today. Hoffman, what happened?
Well, a woman was seriously injured yesterday in a two-car collision along the back road to Anderson. It happened about 3:30 in the afternoon over by the Mangilao Golf Course. Fire officials say that the woman sustained serious injuries. She was taken to GRMC along with two others who are in stable condition. Meanwhile, two more COVID-related fatalities were reported. Three more, actually, were reported in the JIC this morning. One of them, a 4-month-old baby, a 64-year-old man, and a 21-year-old woman. 56 people are admitted to the hospital with 95 new cases that were added to the list out of 996 people who were tested in the latest round of tests. The CAR score is at 21.6. And those are your headlines right here on The Point.
Fire him. That's Montesilva Tower, and she'll take care of stuff. 7:38. I know this guy is busy, and frankly, I want to get into the questioning as quickly as possible. The cross-examination of Les Carlson. Hey, Les, buenos day.
Good morning, Ray. Good morning, Mana.
Morning, Les.
It's real Joe's laughing out loud over there. Your microphone is on.
Especially by somebody like you.
Hey, no, appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, Dave Del Solo likes me. I don't know what's up with you.
You're just not examining me, Ray. No.
No, it's certainly not going to be. All right, so notwithstanding the fact that we've been buddies for about ever, BBMR and a report that came out the other day about not the other day, I got my hands on it the other day. Government of Guam federal stimulus and assistance through the American Rescue Plan as of 2021, all these different programs, and you go through it, and it really shows off some of the generosity of the American taxpayer where it comes to helping us out here on Guam with our response to COVID-19. Lots of different places where lots of federal dollars were spent here on Guam. Now you get to the bottom of this list, and here's what it says: total $1.484 billion. There's some more numbers on the other side of a couple of commas here, but $1.48 billion, and the amounts awarded that we have received is $1.34 billion. Year to date, it says we've spent $283.5 million worth of that, and it says available funds is $1.057 billion. And so the question that at least one alert listener of the radio station says is it looks like we haven't spent 2/3 of the money that Uncle Fed has sent us.
Yeah, Ray, first and foremost, there are actually three reports. There's the CARES Act report, there's the CRISA report, the act that was passed in December, and then there's the ARP. So there's actually three of those spreadsheets that cumulatively total, if I remember correctly, over $3 billion.
Wow.
And the longevity, particularly with the ARP money, it's supposed to hold us over and sustain programs, and the money is available up until December of 2024. So there's the one thing I think we're all collectively trying to work on with public health is $100 million worth of child care money. We'd like to be able to get that money in the economy, assist working families with the ability to have reliable, dependable child care, so people can get back to work, trying to get some normalcy. But we're also looking at stimulating that sector of the economy with these funds. So you have a situation where things just take a little while to set up, and I just call to mind that as an example because it is a tremendous amount of money that has tremendous value and applicability to people in the workforce.
But isn't there's already a pipeline for that kind of thing? There have been child care credits that have been extended to the people of Guam for quite some time, and you get the daycares, and they'll take in the family and the kids, and then send a bill over to the Department of Administration or through DPHSS, and then monies would come to them through the Department of Administration. So there's already a pipeline for something like that. Does a new system need to be stood up to deal with the additional millions?
We don't have the capacity to spend that kind of money. You're talking about, a fraction of the existing program. It's just a fraction of what that $100 million could do.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like blowing it up on steroids. And, that in it of itself, expanding child care facilities, ensuring that, the child care facilities and those that are watching your kids are certified, that the environment is safe and conducive, to the child's development. Those kind of things that play a big factor in being able to, expand this stuff. So, every agency, every employer, has people with kids.
Oh, yeah, guaranteed. But Amana and I could set up a system like overnight that could help you do all of that stuff. Have you asked anybody outside the government to set up some kind of a private sector response to be able to administer these programs in the absence of the government bandwidth?
I think the understanding within that sector of the business community is aware, and it's certainly not anything that we've done to try to dissuade people. We actually need these types of facilities, and I think the demand in a lot of cases is there. It's just a supply. So there are especially with people going when we weren't going back to school, there was a need to be able to have that. And I think now that we're back to school, maybe some entrepreneurs are a little gun shy. Okay, well, what is it that I'm going to be doing now that the kids are back in school? There's still a lot of after school care. There's still a lot of other opportunities that are available.
Well,
again, as an example.
As an example, I appreciate that $100 million worth of child care money that is going to be unspent. While I suppose, ramp up the capability of the private sector to create the supply of caregivers and the people that are going to be providing the care, and the opportunities for, I guess, DPHSS and the Department of Administration to ensure that those businesses that pop up will be legitimate and capable of providing them, per the law. I'm sure there are other examples of all of this stuff, but the demand, I think, is going to get pent up until that bandwidth is met. So, as I said, there's $1 billion, at least in this report, that we still need to get some spending going on.
Yes,
I mean, but that's a fair assessment to say that 2/3 of this $1.5 billion has not been spent yet.
And that's actually a good thing because, it's supposed to last for, as long as 2024. So while tourism is recovering and while other businesses like, for example, CPK dine in last night, while people are starting to come back and provide more services, these funds will help support the economy. And it behooves us to use it wisely. And the one thing that I will remind everybody, the CARES Act money was supposed to be used immediately and in immediate response to COVID. This rescue plan money is supposed to be longer term, more sustainable type of investment into the community to, now that we've quote unquote tried to address the last summer's COVID, blowout, the outburst. Now this funding is to try to help, stabilize and sustain the economy while we deal with this Delta variant and other things that seem to be coming at numbers that going back to what Jerry Roberts was saying before I got on, I'm surprised too, at the amount of positive cases, the unfortunate amount of fatalities, and I just can't put my finger on what is driving this. And I think the latest report was talking about people who are, just ingrained and not really being regularly seen by the healthcare system. So that might be, that one sector of our population.
Yeah, I just
but
worry between the two of us. I just worry that in current political strategy these days, they'd look at it and say, "Oh, it's the pandemic of the unhealthy." Well, we're going to make everybody healthy by limiting the amount of sugar that they can drink in their drinks and mandating exercise periods for the population. That's just me. 7:47 in the morning. Les Carlson from BBMR on the line, and I said, can I presume then that there's going to be $100 million worth of spend in the child care, and that's one thing that Jimmy Moylan can tick off on information on how on the plan that is working over at the governor's office on how these millions and billions are going to be spent here on Guam.
Yeah.
Okay,
and,
one less thing to worry about, Jimmy Craig.
The report that you're referring to is on our website. I think the latest version is as of August 31st.
Yes.
And there are 3 spreadsheets. So cumulatively, it's over $3 billion.
I'd asked Dave Del Sola on the line the other day. I guess there's about 13. I'm looking for it now. About $13 million that is still available to them, or still has been received by the government of Guam that has not yet been spent by the Department of Labor. Any idea where that's supposed to go? Because he didn't seem to be aware of that.
I just saw some blurb about like yesterday was like supposed to be like the deadline for applying for unemployment assistance if you needed to revise your profile or something like that.
Yeah, they've got. I think the 27th is the kill date on all of that. Everything is going to go offline. That is online right now, and nobody's going to be able to put together any new claims. So they've got time to fill in all the blanks on what they've had before, but time definitely running out on that. But it says at least one of these sections calls for $13.3 million for the PUA and the FPUC, and according to this, it says there's $13.3 million that is still available. And like I said, it's just one of those things where you look and go, I thought they were all done with that as well. Dave's looking into it. He'll get back to me on all of that.
What's the date of the report, Ray, on the upper left-hand column?
It's as of August 31st, 2021. So this is the most recent one.
Yeah, so it's as of August, so it doesn't count September, doesn't count half of October. So that number more than likely, is dated simply just because of the passage of time.
Okay, and so between September and October, I'll try to remember what the numbers were there. Les, it's always fun talking with you. What other big news is coming out of BBMR this week? Anything fun?
Oh no, man, it's Friday.
That's it. Golf. Shoot.
I don't know. No. Yeah.
What is that
one?
Right.
Yeah, that one too.
See, hey, could you do me? You know what? We're talking about doing a Squid Games pew pew up at the PD range, maybe in a couple of weeks. Why don't you come out and show everybody your arsenal?
Yeah. I think I might enjoy that, Ray.
I think you would. Meet some of the Point listeners and members of the radio family. I think they'd have a good time meeting you.
All right.
All right. I'll talk to you soon. I'll send you an invitation. 7:50 in the morning. Les Carlson from BBMR. It's true. There's lots of money out there. Although I'm interested in this, the $100 million in child care. I'm wondering how many moms, grandmas, and dads are listening to the broadcast going, well, hurry up because I got the kids. And right now they're in school, but who knows what's going to be happening when, summer break, or I got little kids, mom's pregnant again, and we're going to have to figure out where this little squirt's going to be going. There have been, is there not a lot of daycares on Guam anymore, Mana?
There are a lot.
There are a lot of daycares.
They're expensive.
They're expensive. How much more expensive are they going to be, knowing that the federal government now has kicked in $100 million in child care subsidies? I mean, if I don't have to worry about taking $550 a month per head from you, and I know that the majority of that cash is going to be coming in through these federal programs, all right, well, maybe it sounds like $1,000 a head.
Maybe.
If Uncle Fed is paying for it. And you're going, no, it doesn't work like that, does it? Yes, that's exactly how it works. Why do you think the cost of construction goods and materials are up so high? There's going to be Buy America requirements for lots and lots of construction and lots of construction materials, and knowing that they're not going to be facing a whole lot of competition from offshore, and there has to be a precedent now in the pricing for some of this stuff. A lot of the companies that sell these goods and materials have decided to go ahead and kick up their rates already in anticipation of the big buys that are going to be coming down and the Make them Buy American requirements. So yeah, that's why we're seeing a sheet of 4x8 going for unbelievable numbers, and you're thinking, well, yeah, it's okay. Don't need a 4x8. I'm just going to go wait until political season and start pulling down some of those 4x8 signs.
Yeah,
that's I think that's one of the reasons why they changed the signage requirements for politicians is so that there was a less of a likelihood, because nobody wants to steal a 2x2 or 3x3, right?
No,
we want to get stuff
man.
big enough to cover our windows during the typhoon. 7:52 in the morning, 888-8255-888-TALK. Thank you, Boris, for sending me that paperwork. Now I want to go take a look at the other spreadsheets that they've got there as well. 7:52 in the morning, and something that we were talking about earlier, just the cost of goods and materials. Mark Cruz, who listens to the program religiously, frankly, I think he writes everything down.
Hey, Mark.
Says, forwarded a message from somebody. We were talking about PS5s. Ismail, you can find a PS5 right here on Guam.
Oh, yeah. What is he going to have to do for it, though?
I think he might have to sell Xander. I think you might have to sell. I mean, hope you had a happy birthday, son. You're going to go live with somebody else because I need the money to buy a PS5 for your little brother. Thank you for contacting PC Bargain. They are apparently this is a place here at Compadres Mall. A PS5 Blu-ray drive 825 gigabytes, available right now from 5:30 p.m. onwards. Now, I don't know if this is like in real time right now.
Dude, you're going to start a line over there now.
Maybe not. Price is $1,270, one-time payment for a PS5.
I got that, man.
I don't even. Does it come with 2 controllers?
That's my pocket change right now.
Does it vacuum your floor?
I don't know if it's got the Roomba attachment to it,
Oh,
but
yeah.
$1,270
need
one
that.
time for a PS5 Blu-ray drive edition. Because they make a distinction. It's got the Blu-ray drive because you can buy PS5s without the drive. Because everything is downloadable now, right?
It is.
Yeah, so the only thing you need the drive for is to play the older games?
That older games, yeah, and movies. If you have DVD movies.
Oh, my God. I found that Case Logic again. I remember how proud I was because I'd taken all of my DVD library, my huge DVD library, and said this is taking up too much space. And so I'm going to take all of these movies and stick them in a Case Logic. I got the cover there, and I got the DVD on the inside, and it's in alphabetical order, and except for Shaun of the Dead. Shaun of the Dead, and it's right there in the front, which is one of my favorite movies. But everything else, it's all right there.
Are there the movies where the guy's walking in front of you with the popcorn, and then he sits down?
There might be a couple of those in there. Where you can
But wait, I
hear
want
other
to
people
hear
talking.
how the organization went. So now it's in
I
like one
have
big
Case
stack
Logic. I've
of-
got a big Case Logic thing
And
with
the
all of my
CDs are in the
and
actual-
the CDs are in the spots.
designated
Yes,
location?
exactly.
Wow.
But when was the last time anybody played a DVD? I bought a new computer last year from Beyond the Box, and it doesn't have a player in it. It doesn't have a DVD player. In fact, it has 2 kinds of inputs and outputs. There's an audio jack, a headphone jack in the computer, and then there's 2 of these C-type DVD things in there. That's it. That's all I got for ins and outs.
Well, I have a portable DVD player if you want. Still works.
You got one of those?
Yeah, it still works.
That was the greatest Christmas gift ever.
What was the name of the company?
You
It
know
wasn't
what it was?
Sony. It was Kobe, right? It was
Yes, Kobe.
It is, because it was, you know, when Mia was a toddler,
Yes.
we didn't have our phones or an iPad, so
Yes.
that was her go-to. That was her babysitter.
how many? Yes, how many trips?
Backseat.
How many trips did that go on? How many
Yeah,
trips did that
lots.
go on between RD and Mia? All these different ways to keep the kids occupied. Thankfully, by the time Miami rolled around, everything was on the phone. That's okay. We got it on the phone or the iPad. That's it. $756 and change. $1,270 one-time payment. You can find this at the Bazaar, stall 13 and 14. If supply lasts, because I don't know how many of these there were, and I don't know when this was made available, and in front of Mark Cruz's eyes. So don't stampede over to the place.
But how quickly does that depreciate? Because as soon as you get it, there's going to be a new version. There's going to be a PS5.
It might
or
be a
6.
while.
Oh, you sound like everybody's mom.
Is that the
You
one from
literally
Reno?
sound like everybody. Mom, can I get a PS5? And you're going to spend all that money on it. You're going to say, okay, $1,270 divided by 365 days a year. That's you got to play at least $4 worth of games every single day. Otherwise, and you got to do at least $10 worth of chores and work around the house in order to get that done.
Lawn
but
work.
At the going rate, I mean, that's what is it? $9.25 an hour is minimum wage.
Yeah.
No, you don't. Federal laws and labor
Don't
doesn't
apply
apply
to
to children.
No.
Right.
No.
Not your children.
757 and change. There we go. 888-825-5888-TALK. There it is. Fun fact, American-made products don't get stuck on cargo ships is the point that you have to make. And I'd be happy to go out there and buy an American-made product. Is the Xbox, does that qualify for the Made in America sticker?
I don't know, man. Malaysia, maybe. Bangladesh.
Ismail will know. James Howard will know. The guys, the bad boys over on the YouTube side will know exactly what's going on. Jerry Roberts, I know you're still listening, and you hit a home run. Everybody on Facebook Live is raving about it, and on YouTube Live, what did they have to say about their wait. Hold on, because there's all kinds of new conversations.
Oh, wow. He's awake, Ray.
It's Elvis Canata says, right on, JQ, best extra point ever since, and James Howard said Jerry was kind of aggressive today. I like it. He was getting. I could tell. I've seen Jerry Roberts mad before, and yeah, that's the kind of Jerry Roberts that you like to get into every once in a while. It's all based on science, and like I said, it comes back less than a couple of minutes before the top of the hour, but it comes back down to one of the first things that I read this morning, and I got to tell you, it pissed me off when I saw this. As they say, everybody is entitled to their opinion, and in this case, it is the opinion of the editorial board over at the Pacific Daily News. And I'm sure there's a lot of people that agree with this. I guarantee, because they have won the propaganda war that has segregated this community between the vaccinated and the unvaccinated. And I'm sure that the vaccinated all want the unvaccinated to wear some kind of a wristband so that they can see us coming and walk the other way or turn around and go back in the other way. That they're not going to say it, but that's actually what they want. Even Uncle Robert had said so in one of his editorials not that long ago. Fire them, terminate GovGuam workers who refuse vaccine or regular testing. They're going to, and maybe at DOE there's 30, maybe around the rest of the government of Guam there might be another 60, 90, 100 or something like that. But do these people need to be terminated because they don't want to take a vaccine that there are still questions about? And I don't care how many times they're going to, oh, no, test is safe, everything is, but you still hear stories, don't you? And then what about the efficacy of it? Everybody made a big deal about this Pfizer vaccine that's coming around out there, and by their own research, their own paperwork, the territorial epidemiologist says that we've got there are breakthrough cases, and those of you that took the Pfizer maybe could end up being one of those breakthrough cases, because they're seeing a preponderance of those. Haven't really dived into the numbers, but I'll do that soon. It's 8 o'clock in the morning on Carl T.C. Gutierrez's 80th birthday, and you're listening to The Point.
Another shot in the arm. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. A third COVID shot from a second company clears another hurdle.
Following a day's worth of reviewing data submitted by Moderna that some of the members questioned at first, the FDA's Vaccine and Related Biological Products Advisory Committee now agrees that a Moderna booster shot could be useful.
So we do have a unanimous 19 out of 19 yes votes, and that concludes the voting portion.
This means, like Pfizer, a booster of Moderna is recommended for seniors and immunocompromised adults. A similar vote will be taken by a different panel at CDC before it becomes available. Eben Brown, Fox News.
The booster from Pfizer was okayed last month. The FDA has also asked an advisory committee to meet November 30th to look at Merck's pill to treat COVID. They're likely to vote in December on whether it should be approved. If authorized, it would be the first patients could take it home to ease symptoms and speed recovery. As a congressional committee sets a vote for next week on whether to recommend contempt of Congress charges against former Trump aide Steve Bannon in connection with their investigation to the January 6th riot, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki explains the White House reason for making sure information related to the riot be made public.
What we're talking about here is getting to the bottom of that. Shouldn't everybody want to get to the bottom of that? Democrats, Republicans, people who have no political affiliation whatsoever.
Bannon's attorney said earlier today he would not appear before Congress or for questioning or provide any documentation. Los Angeles artist Lily Bernard has filed a civil lawsuit against Bill Cosby, claiming he raped her in 1990 in an Atlantic City hotel room. Cosby was freed from jail in June after his conviction on another sexual assault charge was overturned. Wall Street, the market shook off several days of wobbly trading. The Dow plus 534, the Nasdaq added 251. America is listening to Fox News.
Great news, Guam! Chili's 2 for Dining is back. Enjoy a full-on meal deal made for 2 for just $35. Start with 2 Coca-Cola beverages, an appetizer to share, and 2 mouth-watering entrees like the sizzling personal fajitas, the mouth-watering honey chipotle steak and shrimp, or Chili's world-famous fall-off-the-bone baby back ribs. Available for a limited time. Dine in today or call 648-7377 to place to-go orders. Chili's is located on the 2nd floor of Tuan Sands Plaza. Chili's. Savor the moment.
Looking for a seamless medical trip to Manila? St. Luke's Medical Center offers a convenient end-to-end medical travel service and direct access to St. Luke's, Quezon City, and Global City. St. Luke's Medical Travel Service covers patients from the Pacific and provides services such as air travel assistance, airport to hospital transportation, hospital admission, and more. To learn more, call PhilMD 671-637-5433 or visit their office in Tamuning, Guam across Baltej Pavilion. At St. Luke's, we love life.
A Marine who spoke out against the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan will soon learn his fate after pleading guilty at a court-martial.
Lieutenant Colonel Stuart Scheller is in the midst of the sentencing phase of his special court-martial at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina. He pleaded guilty today to several counts said to include failure to obey orders and conduct unbecoming an officer. A video that surfaced in August shows Scheller questioning military leaders' judgment following the deaths of 13 military men and women after an explosion at the Kabul airport in Afghanistan. He was jailed at the North Carolina base for continuing his criticism. Scheller's attorney says he expects punishment to be not much more than a letter of reprimand. Gernal Scott, Fox News.
Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer has committed to replacing all the lead pipes in Benton Harbor this coming a week after her administration urged people in the city to use only bottled water for drinking and cooking after high levels of lead were detected. A major city keeping stores closed on Thanksgiving Day again.
Forget about shopping till you drop on the holiday. The doors will be closed to Chicago area malls and retailers this Thanksgiving for a second straight year. So shoppers will be counting the minutes until those door-busting Black Friday deals kick in. Brookfield Properties owns Water Tower Place, Oakbrook Center, and Northbrook Court will not open until 9 a.m. local time on Black Friday, the company said. They joined mall operator Simon Properties as well as Target, Walmart, Kohl's, and Bed Bath & Beyond, who recently said they will not be opening on Thanksgiving. Brookfield hasn't decided whether the shift to closing on Thanksgiving is here to stay. CJ Papa, Fox News.
Britain's Prince William is criticizing some of the world's richest men for using their money for space tourism rather than, as he put it, trying to solve problems on Earth. William made the comments in a BBC interview that aired today, one day after actor William Shatner went to the edge of space. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
Leah Dunca from Security Title here with a little information about trusts. A trust is a legal entity capable of owning property. It can protect property from issues such as lawsuits or divorce and can be used to distribute property and avoid probate. Many trusts start as revocable but become irrevocable when the initial trustees die. Work with your estate planning attorney to see if a trust is a good fit for your family property. Call the professionals at Security Title. We are here to help.
Raise your glasses for a toast because First Hawaiian Bank now turns your meals into a reason to celebrate. Every dollar you spend on dining purchases, including fast food, earns you up to 3 times United miles. Simply use your First Hawaiian Bank United credit card and start reaping the most rewarding credit card experience on island. Terms and restrictions apply. Don't have a First Hawaiian Bank credit card? Visit any branch or FHB.com to apply today. With First Hawaiian Bank, it all starts with yes.
Your local news is brought to you by Nambo Insurance. Skip the line, pay online. It's fast, it's easy, and it's secure. Visit Nambo.com for more information.
Half a day, it's 8:06. I'm Mana Silva Tyron with a look at your local news on the point. There have now been 222 deaths related to COVID-19, and the JIC report this morning says one of the most recent is a 4-month-old baby boy who was pronounced dead upon arrival at the Naval Hospital. The other 2 that were in the list today was a 64-year-old man who was vaccinated. He also had underlying health conditions, and a 21-year-old woman also died. She was unvaccinated with health conditions, though. Meanwhile, 56 people were admitted to the hospital, and from the latest round of testing, Public Health says there were 95 new cases out of 996 people tested on October 13th. 30 cases were identified through contact tracing. Our total today is at 16,690 officially reported cases of COVID-19, and the CAR score is at 21.6. And the COVID testing will continue this morning at the Teeds Carnival Grounds. It opens up at 8. The vaccination clinic's also taking place at the University of Guam, with booster shots also being available there for eligible individuals. You can also contact your village mayor's office to schedule an appointment, as Public Health has been bringing those booster shots to the village mayor's offices. Next clinic up will be at the Umatic mayor's office, and that's scheduled to start on Monday. And Public Health has put out some guidance for Halloween and All Souls Day gatherings. Residents will have to be vaccinated if they are at the eligible ages from 12 and up. Social gatherings still limited to 25 people outdoors and 10 people indoors. Also, you'll have to wear your mask and social distance, and they are encouraging washing of hands and limiting crowds. The guidance also prohibits intermingling with other groups. We'll have more news right after this.
Go green, go solar, and save big with Nambo Insurance. When you power up your home with solar panels, Nambo Insurance will pay up to $350 toward your power bill. With Nambo, you can enjoy great savings while going green and helping to save Guam's environment. At Nambo, it pays to go green. Terms and conditions apply. Visit Nambo.com or call 477-9754 for details. Nambo Insurance, proudly serving Guam for over 50 years.
$17 million in COLA payments is being circulated this weekend. GovGuam retirees have been waiting for their cost of living allowance, but the Department of Administration was able to make those payments well in advance of the November 1st deadline. The administration says it has a lot to do with fiscal responsibility. The transfer covers 2021 COLA payments. And rising fuel prices will affect your pocketbooks, and things will start costing you more. Shipping company Matson announced this week that it will be increasing its fuel-related surcharge beginning November 14th. The surcharge, they say, will be increased because of the sustained increase in fuel prices. Normally, they give customers a 30-day advance before prices are adjusted, and they say that they will continue to monitor the fuel costs closely and adjust accordingly. And a woman was reported to have been seriously injured in a two-car collision yesterday afternoon along the back road to Anderson. It took place about 3:30 in the afternoon by the Mangilao Golf Course. Fire officials say the woman sustained serious injuries. She was taken to GRMC. Two others were also injured in that, but they are listed in stable condition. And those are your headlines right here on The Point. Here's Ray with your weather.
I'll get around to doing the weather. Did you see that video of the haunted hotel here?
No.
You have not?
No.
Okay. Before we get to the weather, this isn't going to work on the radio, unfortunately. If you're listening to 93.3, number one, thank you very much, and go to Pika and say we're the best there ever was on the radio. But I want to play a video that you won't be able to see, obviously, on the radio, but later on when you get to the office, go and take a look at the footage on YouTube. They keep an archive. Facebook keeps an archive as well. And just remember, it was 10 after 8 when I was talking about a TikTok video that I want to say I got this from. Well, I'm not going to tell you because I'm going to get it wrong and I'm going to forget. But I got this in my WhatsApp feed, and I got to share it with everybody. It is a video that starts off as a narration in print. It's I moved to Guam. And my 14-day quarantine was spent in a haunted hotel, and there's the beginning of the video. Yeah, I think the audio's. I recall the audio being cool. I heard it yesterday, so I'm okay. If there's any salty language, it's Joe's fault. Are you ready? And here it is. The guy's kind of walking around with the camera of his hotel room.
I moved to Guam, and my 14-day quarantine was spent in a haunted hotel.
Poor girl. Is the TikTok voice girl? Okay, so walking around, and there on the table it's a box, and it's falling down, a piece of paper falling down from the door, and the door closing in the hotel room.
I just got chills, man.
And the toothpaste, the tube of toothpaste is floating in the bathroom. I'll play it again. So you can see what's going on and hear the lady with the narration.
I moved to Guam, and my 14-day quarantine was spent in a haunted hotel.
Mm-hmm. So she's surveying the room, and again, the first of the spooky images is the box falling off the dining room table. Oh my God! Hey, the Gaga, the door to the other room closing, and the was it toothpaste container?
It's levitating,
right?
man.
Yeah, you saw that.
Yeah.
It's not just me.
What the heck?
Okay, so here's number one. Here's the question: anybody else got any video?
That's 14 days of no sleep.
It's Halloween week.
Oh my gosh! I would not close my eyes.
I wonder if they
all the lights would be on.
The TV playing.
Oh yeah, super.
Gotta have something playing.
Windows wide open. Oh my God.
So it brings to mind. We've done this before on the radio. We're talking about haunted hotels and haunted facilities here on Guam. And I've told you, I can't remember which of the hotels it is. I want to say it was Onward, where there was a telephone in a room that would not stop ringing, and so they'd send the technicians up there and they replaced the phone. It come back. The telephone just keeps ringing. ring, even though they'd replaced it. They changed out the wiring. If the phone still rings, they took the phone out. There was still ringing in the hotel room where it was. I don't think anybody stays in that room anymore. Also heard that there's stories about one of the other hotels, not necessarily in Tumon, but around Tumon, that has been visited by the ghosts of Christmas past. And so it raises a question here, and I think it's a legitimate question. You can have it amongst yourselves, and we can share the conversation here on the radio if you're unafraid to call in. Where else is the most haunted place on Guam? Where have you been? Where there have been, where you just get the chills? When you know where Anthony Reid has got the magic show?
Yeah.
Over at the old Fiesta Hotel. It used to be a nightclub called the Hibiscus back in the day, and the DJs in there and all this other stuff. And you might not know this unless you've actually spent some time in there with the lights on, and many of you haven't, and it shows. They've got a big stage area, and there's a dressing room on the side, and the dressing room, they say, is haunted. I remember when they switched over from the Hibiscus, they were for a short time another nightclub. You remember the name of it, if it comes to me. Come on, Real Joe.
Man.
I was between wives at that time. It was a great summer.
White Swallow.
No, it wasn't White Swallow. But anyway, so they were going from whatever, they were doing dance shows or island shows in there, and then they said, okay, we're going to become a nightclub again, and they brought in a bunch of guys, did some stuff in the sound system, did some stuff to the lights, redid something which was storage, which was the original DJ booth that they had up there. At any rate, so they said, oh, there's a room over there. I said, yeah, but we don't go in there. I said, why not? They said, it's haunted. Who said? Everybody. Everybody
Nobody
says.
tells me what to do.
Everybody says it's haunted. And so I was in the building after dark. We had just shut down a little bit of some of the work. They brought me in to help them with some of the sounds, and because we were doing a promotion in there. Anyway, so everybody left for a few minutes to go get beer or something like that. And I was in the room. I was in the building by myself. And I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to go check this out. I went in the room, feeling around the wall for the light switch, and I hit the light switch. Nothing happens. No lights in there. And but I walked all the way into the room in the dark, and said, "Okay, give me a sign." Yeah.
Oh, wow,
did.
Ray.
But, I even, come on.
And what happened after you?
Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. And
nothing.
Nothing. I was so disappointed. I was so let down because I was kind of hoping that there would be one of those things, like the door would slam behind me or something would creep into my, and say the scariest thing in the world to me, like Governor Luligan Guerrero. Right? I was waiting for that scary moment, and it didn't happen in there. So clearly that place, for some people, might be among the scariest and most haunted places on Guam. But where else? Is there someplace else where you consider it scary? Have you ever done the White Lady Bridge thing?
Oh, yeah. Ricky Bradalio's mansion.
Ricky's, right.
Yeah.
There's another spot. Although I don't know why.
Night train there.
I don't know why that would be considered scary. I mean, it's like.
Yeah,
he had moved out of there for a long time before it gotten to look like a scary place.
Everyone always said it was, though. It's haunted up there.
Yeah, it's just it's on the cliff line. That'd be a good place. If I was at Tautomona, that's where my shack would have been. Just so I don't know if they had Tautomona real estate, but I would have talk to somebody about, I'd like that spot there, right into the cliff. So to ponder this scariness of this, and hit me up with your answers on YouTube Live or Facebook Live. Partly sunny in the forecast today. Look, scattered showers and isolated thunderstorms are also in the forecast. I haven't had a chance to go outside, Real Joe. Is it nice?
It's beautiful.
Great. So a couple of things are going to be happening. I hope it remains beautiful for just a little bit longer. There's going to be the groundbreaking ceremony this morning at 9, if my calculations are correct. Gold Star families are all going to be meeting up over at Skinner Plaza for, as I said, the groundbreaking ceremony that is on tap for 9 o'clock this morning. Let me see. You were supposed to have RSVP'd with Army Lynn on by Wednesday, but I'm sure you'll be able to swing by and attend. If you can't can. There's going to be a Zoom meeting, and find Army Lynn on Facebook, and she'll let you know all about the Herschel Woody Williams Medal of Honor Foundation and the Team Guam Gold Star Families Memorial Project that we have been a part of here at this radio station since July or so. 8:17. We got mostly cloudy in the forecast for tonight, partly sunny tomorrow, partly cloudy tomorrow night, and by Sunday, partly cloudy, isolated showers. Now, they're throwing in a warning in there about isolated showers and thunderstorms, but you know what? I'm not hearing it. I choose not to participate in lousy weather this weekend. Sunrise this morning was at 6:11. Hashtag tell the others. We're sunsetting tonight at 6:01. At 1. I'm bringing my own beer. Just saying. So if you don't look at me going, can I tell you what I had for my food yesterday? So this is me. This is the ultimate in hypocrisy, right? I'm the guy on the radio that says, "Hey, you know what, people? You need to start taking care of your diet and control your exercise and sugar, blah 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 blah, blah things like that." I couldn't resist it. I opened up the freezer early yesterday morning and noted that there were 1, 2, 3, 4 hot dogs in a pack that were frozen. So I took them out and let them thaw. And it got to be lunchtime yesterday, and I was really, really hungry yesterday because I was talking about keto all day. And so I took out the hot dogs, cut them into little slices, and opened up a can of Van Camp's pork and beans, right? 69 seconds later, pow. And about an hour later, yeah, you didn't want to be in the vicinity.
Creature of habit.
There's sometimes that Van Camp's, man, that stuff can be lethal. And so I'm out working all day yesterday and doing a lot of technical stuff. And I get home and I'm like, God, I'm hungry. And there's still 2 more hot dogs in the pack.
Oh yeah.
And some frozen rice from over the weekend. And Hormel.
Get vaccinated, man.
Hormel chili, no
beans.
Get
out there.
Hormel chili, no beans. It was great, and it took me about 2 minutes to cook all of that stuff there. But I was trying to stay true to the keto thing. I didn't have crackers.
Oh, good man. Good man. It's showing today, Ray.
Just, I know I've got that.
You're glowing, man.
I've got that hot dog glow. 4 hot dogs yesterday. Someone rise to the challenge on a Friday. 20 after 8. I'll be right back.
It's back on. Mark it down. October 30. Michelob Ultra presents the GSPN Imas Met Good competition. Guam's strongest man and woman will be determined at the Paseo ground. Come, watch our island's strongest compete in the Triple J truck pull, the Paradise Fitness log lift, CTV and Pacific tire flip, the ITNE wheelbarrow course, Guam Army National Guard warrior walk, and the Isla Imports mini truck lift. There'll be a beer garden and food truck, so leave your chow and drinks at home. They're not allowed at this free event. Who will be Guam's strongest man and woman? Find out Saturday, October 30th.
There's so much that's new with the Eat Fresh, Refresh at Subway restaurants that we can't possibly fit it all into one radio spot, but I'm gonna try. There are amazing new toppings like hickory smoked bacon, bacon, and smashed avocado. Try your favorite sub on the new breads like the hearty multigrain wheat or the artisan Italian white bread. Not to mention Subway's thicker, juicier steak. That's all I have time for. You gotta refresh to be fresh. Only at Subway.
All right, Mon is proclaiming the TikTok video is fake. You don't believe that's real deal. I'll put that back up on the screen so everybody can see it. And you don't necessarily need the sound. You're walking around the haunted hotel room. First of all, the question is, what hotel room is that? Does anybody know?
It doesn't look like anything I've seen.
Done a staycation? So it looks big for a hotel room.
Big.
Doesn't it?
It's got a kitchenette, man.
It's got a kitchenette.
Yeah.
There's a bottle of wine.
Maybe that's what.
Messy
you
people.
get a couple of bottles of wine here, everything is haunted.
They're messy people.
Pick
up your clothes.
Anyway, so you think it might have, maybe the window was open and there was a breeze coming through and it knocked out whatever it is.
There's a second person and it was rigged with like a string or something. They pulled it off. This is just to get likes on TikTok so that it circulates. It's already 21,000.
Shake your boobies like everybody else. If you want to do that, you got to get in there and do that ultra twerk. Come on, people. Let's get creative. It's 8:21 in the morning. Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point. And what are we got to talk about here today? The friends over at Nissan. I have a couple of friends over at Nissan. Brian told me, he says, Ray, that Frontier that you've been yakking about on the radio, it's at the port. It's on the way. On the way. and we got all kinds of colors, all kinds of styles, all kinds of treats on the inside. But it's not the big deal. It might be a big deal for me because, I'm a boy, like pickup trucks, that kind of thing. But they've got all kinds of other ones. The Versa is in town. Consumer Guide's best buy in its class. They got the Sentras, all kinds of new Sentras available for you. And the thing about Sentras that you're going to love, especially if you're a klutz like me, it is probably one of the safest cars that are out there. Safety Shield 360, which means all the way around. It is standard, all trim levels. And you got a new driver in the house. Check out the kicks. You're going to love the styling on the kicks, all the technology in there, because young people like that kind of thing. They want something. The cool thing about a Nissan Kicks is I guarantee you could do this. You get the kicks. And then what you do is you pull some of the stuff out, and you have your construction kuya build you something where you can put your $1,270 PlayStation 5 in there, and you go places and play your PlayStation 5 in the back. You got other plans. They used to do this with remember when the Kicks first came out? They used to have these guys that take everything out and they'd put like DJ booth in there. Wouldn't that be? That would be awesome. TikTok that, bro. It's 8:23, and your new ride's waiting for you at Nissan Guam.
The Coconut Wireless is back. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Come on now. 8:23, Ray Gibson Show, Friday morning. And what do we get to talk about here today? Pretty much whatever I want to. That's why at the bottom of the thing it says Ray Gibson Show. If it's something that you want to talk about, you're welcome to call 888-8255. 888-TALK is the telephone number around here. And we'll get to the ground on some of the important and fun issues that are floating around. You got time for that? No problem. And if you're looking for real news in this town, I got to tell you, the spot to go to is Candid. Cousin Troy, Johnny, Eric, and a whole army of other people, including a zillion people in the government of Guam that love leaking documents to Cousin Troy. And I think that's fantastic. My Cousin Troy on the line right now. Buenos den Hoffaday, cuz.
Good morning, my most favoriteest, most beautifulest cousin in the whole wide world.
Good morning, my favoriteest and most beautifulest cousin in the whole wide world. I love you. I love all of you.
Did you hear Mike St. Nicholas say "miss you" this morning?
No, I just woke up like 10 minutes ago.
Oh, you missed all the fun. All the former congressman, soon to be governor, Mike St. Nicholas on the line here this morning. We talked about a variety of stuff, up to and including the shell game on money in the government of Guam, and we got talking about all kinds of other stuff. Joan, Zach, Josh Tenorio, and at the end I said, we got to get together soon. And he says, "Yeah, we do. Miss you."
Oh, I love it.
And it was one of those like bro moments, man. I'm sorry you missed it, but it's in the archives. You can check that out a little bit later on. Anyway, so now Mana fell into a story on Facebook or from Candid last night. Showed me a screen cap of what looked like some kind of Saipanese altercation. Right? Is that what that story was?
Yes, that's candidate for Precinct 3's vacancy in the House of Representatives, Grace E2 Sablan Vaige, going not Shimizu berserk about a month ago.
Wait, no, see, I appreciate the way you've set that up now, but wait a second. Hold on. So this is not just a random person. This is not some weird, I drank too much tuba kind of, and the DJ's not playing my song, and the karaoke thing is not working. It's not one of those just kind of random bad days in Susupi?
No. She is facing, up for election against Karina Magofnia on Saturday.
I told you it was a she.
Oh my gosh, I thought that was a he. No, really, because the fight stance, man, that was really
totally bladed.
And they just keep coming. I just thought when I saw it yesterday, I was like, wow.
What the heck is the question, right?
We still Guam still has the award on great outbursts. I mean, Tian, there is basically anything that's happened in the public hearing room. Mayor Gumatautal versus Mayor Blas.
Oh yeah. But didn't the Notch thing take place up at the governor's office?
Yes, that took place in the lieutenant governor's chambers.
Right, right, okay. But I hear what you're saying. So we've had our share of knockdown dragouts as well. So it's interesting to see what they're capable of doing up in Saipan and the CNMI. They're absolutely crazy times. I'm sorry. I thought it was just one of those weird kind of stories about where because didn't we have the thing in the magistrate report yesterday or day before where a woman named Karen, calls the cops on her husband, and as it turns out, she's the one that's been bullying him?
Yeah, but I'm told by some people who know them that that she was in the right. I don't know. She looks familiar too. Like, I think I know her.
Wasn't there back in the old days, once upon a time, Cousin Troy, where if there was a domestic situation, the cops would just arrest everybody?
Yeah. I thought that is the case, actually. I thought there was a law or something.
I would. That's my understanding. I don't know when that stopped, but that used to be kind of the procedure, the practice. I don't know whether it was statute, but if you go in and you got a domestic situation, it's not for the police officer to determine what might or might not have been at fault, who the aggressor was in that case. We'll just take everybody in. We'll get you magistrated and let the judge sort it all out.
I think I don't know if it made it as far as a magistrate. I think that it was a police blotter type issue, and it was to provide both parties a cooling off period because you just didn't know what was the officer couldn't ascertain what was going on.
Whichever it was. I don't know. It's just in my head that's the way it was supposed to be, and so it's interesting to see some of these cases, and then the possibility that maybe the narrative in the magistrate's report isn't exactly what it looks like. I got guys that are really interested in another story on Candid. A homeless man has been elected the Tamuling vice mayor, but the family believes he was homeless up in Dededo, and now that calls into question the capabilities of the Guam Election Commission and the decisions that have been made by the Guam Election Commission based on testimony of seated members of the mayor community, right?
Well, I mean, so one of the things that Marie Pangilinan says is they don't have a way of verifying the physical addresses or the physical living situations of people. I mean, and when you think about it, yeah, that's kind of true. Unless there's a house in your name or a lease in your name, are you just going to follow a person around for 365 days to make sure that when that person becomes a candidate for office, they're really residing in the village they say they reside in? So we got this. Jay Vitalik actually, since he was running, was sending stuff, and we didn't. I mean, we took a glance at it. I talked to the mayor at the time, and then Mr. Tovis, the vice mayor's family members, called me up recently and sent me some documents. So I requested the documents from the Guam Election Commission because the assertion was that Al Tovis before March of 2020 was living at a residence in Dededo. And when you look at the documents, you see that Marie Pangilinan did her own investigation, and based on discussions with people, including Al Tovis, she was able to determine that he was not living at this residence in Dededo, that it was alleged that he did live there in the past, but that during the time that he was, during that 1 year period and before March 2020, he was basically spending the night over at the Tamuning Senior Center or in his car in Tamuning at his friend's house on Epal Road. And so I called Mayor Louise Rivera and I asked her, was he living at the Tamuning Senior Center? She basically said, yeah. On some nights he was, on other nights it was just in his truck. He was going to friends' homes, he was couch surfing. I was like, holy cow, how did we miss this?
Technically, if you don't have a permanent and stable address, that meets one of the definitions and criteria of homelessness. Now, this is not to be critical of anybody. People go through hard times and have certain degrees of struggle, and I don't know that would prevent them from taking on any other positions. But it does call to mind, some of the issues that might need to be squared away when it comes to determining whether somebody, if we're talking about a mayoral position, whether or not that person's actually in the village or not.
But where does he vote? I mean, that would be the question. So, I mean, where is he registered to vote for one thing, and how is he doing on the job? Has anyone rated his capabilities or his performance so far?
The mayor said he's doing great on the job, and he is the registered to winning voter according to the records.
Yeah.
And I think it's just one of those things that to kind of feel good about. So according to the mayor, at the time, he was a maintenance worker at her office. He wasn't taking public assistance. He was there first thing in the morning, like he was the first person at the office in the morning and the last person to leave. Well, obviously he was staying there, right? So, and he was working so hard. When the vice mayor, Ken Sanchez, got sick, he was able to perform many of the duties of the vice mayor in his place. And I mean, it's not rags to riches. Maybe that's like a poor term for it, but definitely something. You can be in the worst situation, not relying on anyone except maybe for the use of a public facility to rest your head at night, and you can do good things for your community. You can end up doing good things. For the
Didn't this the same mayor that got in an altercation with somebody, one of the beggars out there? Same guy.
Isn't that
Well, if I remember that correctly, it was another homeless individual had thrown something at the vice mayor.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, altercation.
8:33
in the morning. Were you able to get anything interesting from the conversation with Pabutsky there that you had yesterday? I think the report that comes out is very, very interesting. Although I got to tell you, I got a little bit of a chuckle in the follow-up article that came in the Guam Daily Post, where they're saying Pabutsky said the breakthrough cases aren't something to obsess over. And I'm going, well, why'd we give him a fancy name like breakthrough? I didn't start calling it that. All of a sudden, we got a Hollywood term to describe what happens when you go and you get the much-touted vaccine that's supposed to protect you from COVID-19, yet still get COVID-19. I think breakthrough is the right word, and I think obsession, yeah, right. I don't know that I'm going to obsess over it, but it certainly is an interesting sideline in the conversation. I was delighted because you finally got the answer to your FOIA question, which is, of the breakthrough cases, which of the vaccines are the one that is most likely to lose its flavor on the bedpost at night?
Well, it was what we wanted to know also was when were those vaccines administered, and according to that sheet, the page 6 of the report that she did, the average was 4.5 months ago, which doesn't necessarily tell us. So if like a whole bunch of them was let's say 5 months ago, then maybe we can turn our attention to that batch 5 months ago. So I did ask.
Yeah.
Once I got in, and Crystal came back to me with an answer. Is it possible, or do you suspect that one of the batches of at least one of the vaccines was not handled correctly or was bad? And so Dr. Pabutsky did answer that question. She said, on the public health side, everything was handled the way it was supposed to be handled. And I believe her. I'm pretty sure all that stuff is documented, how everything was handled from the time public health received it.
Guaranteed, yeah.
So I back a follow-up question, and I'm waiting for the answer. When you consider just that our breakthrough cases are like 30 times the national average, and Dr. David said, do the math, about all the fat people and the chronic diseases and all that stuff. And I'm thinking, yeah, I'm doing the math, and that still doesn't account for 30 times the national average. So, can you guys, I understand that maybe public health handled it right, but maybe it wasn't handled right before public health got it. Maybe there's an issue with the refrigeration during shipping, or maybe the container got stuck somewhere and we either overlooked that or we ignored it. And so is that something that anyone is going to take a look at? And so Crystal said she's going to get back to me with an answer. And to go to your question, what was the most interesting thing that she said?
Yeah.
was John O'Connor or Jerry Partido, who asked her, why are there so many breakthrough cases? And Dr. Pabutsky's response was, I don't know. I thought that was the most interesting thing.
Because it's a pandemic of the unhealthy, as Jerry Roberts said this morning on the Extra Point. I urge you to listen to that as well. We've got to follow the science. And I don't know where you are on this, but if it was me and I had another editorial position, I'd take it against the PDN and what they had written this morning in their editorial, which is fire them, terminate GovGuam workers who refuse vaccine or regular testing. Stay classy, have a heart there, guys over at PDN. Not everybody is getting the kind of dough you guys are for the job. 8:37 in the morning. Hey, listen, I gotta let you run. I'm not gonna say I got a bigger name on line 2, but what's the name of the lady on the screen here?
Natalie
Eganoff. Natalie Eganoff. Okay, I got a pretty girl on line 2. I'm gonna talk to you later. All right.
Guys, have a good morning. Bye.
Gunna, you have a fantastic day as well. Cousin Troy here on the point. It's 8:37 in the morning. Tell you what, Natalie, if you don't mind holding, it's not like super expensive long distance between Philly and Guam. So let us take care of some news and headlines and a quick break, and we'll come back to you and learn a little bit more about your desire to adventure trip to Guam.
JV International Safety Equipment has it all for you. Fall protection, rain gear, traffic signs, speed bumps, custom signs and banners, PPEs, fire extinguishers, plus more. Check them out on Facebook at JV International Safety Equipment Company or visit their website, www.jvisec.com. JV International Safety Equipment, Guam's leader in occupational and environmental safety equipment. Call 688-9524. JV International Safety Equipment, located in Harmon Industrial Park.
When making the new Kentucky Fried Chicken sandwich, people asked how I felt about burger places selling fried chicken. I'd say that's none of my business. Just like making fried chicken is none of theirs. The new Kentucky Fried Chicken sandwich with mayo, pickles, and a quarter-pound filet as far as the eye can see. Get comfy. It's gonna be a while.
The new Kentucky Fried Chicken Sandwich is back for good, along with the new all-white meat KFC chicken sandwiches, Zinger, Super Deluxe, and Grilled Doublicious. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Guam Auto Spot has the best selection in Buick, GMC, Mitsubishi, and used cars, like the 2021 Mitsubishi Mirage, starting at $127 per paycheck, 0 down. Call 671-478-AUTO to take a test drive or get pre-approved online at GuamAutospot.com.
There's football today. We're going to get expert football NFL analysis on who the teams, the players, and predictions for what is it, week 6 of the National Football League, Buccaneers and the Eagles. A little bit later on this morning, and Natalie Eganoff online with us here in the program in just a minute or so. 8:39. Mana Silva Tyron's got that last look at big news and headlines. It's time for the 8:30 news at 8:39 with Mana. What happened?
Well, rising fuel prices is going to affect the cost of things that you put into your shopping cart. Shipping company Matson, the first to announce that it will be increasing its fuel-rated surcharge by 2.5% beginning November 14th. Meanwhile, 3 more COVID-related fatalities reported this morning by the Joint Information Center. There have now been 222 on Guam. Sadly, one of those most recent ones was a 4-month-old baby boy who was pronounced dead on arrival at the Naval Hospital. Meanwhile, there were 95 new cases of COVID counted out of about 996 people tested the day before yesterday. The CAR score this morning, 21.6. Meanwhile, Public Health putting out some guidance for Halloween and All Souls Day. They, residents will have to be vaccinated. Social gatherings limited to 25 people outdoors and 10 indoors. And, of course, you'll have to wear your mask. And those are your headlines right here on The Point.
I got it. 20 away from 9 o'clock in the morning. And Mana's last words before we go into the telephone call with Natalie is don't embarrass us. Don't embarrass the family. Don't embarrass the island of Guam, where you're talking with Natalie. Good morning, Natalie. Ray Gibson on Guam on 93.3 The Point. Welcome to the broadcast.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me. I apologize if it's a little loud. I can't believe that I'm on the radio in Guam right now. This is phenomenal. And I'm actually outside of the Philadelphia Eagles game. They're about to face the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So I work in sports radio. I work in sports media in Philadelphia, and I'm so thankful that you guys have me on the line right now. This is so exciting.
So Mana, the girl that just did the news, not any ordinary girl. That's my baby sister, literally my baby sister, and she takes care of the news around here, and she knows that I'm a single guy, and she's looking around on the internet, and found your story, which is and there was something in there about wanting to do some adventure travel out to Guam and do a live broadcast from the beaches. Now, normally we wouldn't have cared, but we looked up your picture. and you're kind of hot. So we were thinking this sounds like one of the things that we really need to explore. So tell me, how did you even hear about Guam?
So actually, it's kind of funny. So I was born and raised in Philadelphia, and like I said, I work in Philadelphia sports media. And I don't know if Guam is aware of Philadelphia sports fans, but we're known as being very passionate. So actually, growing up in Philadelphia, Guam was just kind of a frame of reference for something being really far away from Philadelphia. So the Eagles, and it is, since I guess it's Happy Friday to you guys. So the Eagles were losing to the Carolina Panthers on Sunday, and I always kind of used it as a form of expression, like, oh yeah, that's like going to Guam. So I said, look, if they turn this game around, I'm walking to California, and then I'm going to row a boat to Guam. You know, like just to make it like the most impossible situation that you could probably ever have, because it seemed so unrealistic that they were actually going to do it, and then they did it. So next thing you know, I got the Eagles tweeting at me. They're like, getting your boat, Nat. I have one of the Eagles defensemen, Fletcher Cox. He's like, when do you start your trip? So it kind of took off, and there was no real intent. But, no, I always thought that Guam was beautiful. And, again, I feel like I've talked about it a lot for never having been there. And, honestly, I hope that I get there someday, because from what I've seen, it looks beautiful. When I was talking to your producer, he said, you come here, you might never want to leave.
No, you're absolutely right. And you know, arrangements, believe it or not, arrangements can be made. I know, you know, Philadelphia, I'm sure there's a United flight that can pick you up and bring you out to this part of the world within, I don't know, it takes about 23 hours to get here from where you are. If you're vaccinated or you're negative PCR test, you should be able to get to Guam without any kind of quarantine. And there's all kinds of places where you can stay. In fact, today, the guy that runs the Guam Visitors Bureau is having his 80th birthday. So say happy birthday, Carl. Go ahead.
Oh, happy birthday, Carl, from Philadelphia to Guam.
Now it's possible that he might be listening to that, because one of the things that we're trying to do here is to encourage people on the U.S. mainland to come to Guam. Now we're like everywhere else. We've got you know, issues with the hospitality industry, tourism, and but we do have an incredible number of family and friends in the U.S. military. There's 8,000, 9,000 members of the armed forces between the Navy and the Air Force. We got Marines here. We got some Army folks out here. With the THAAD missile system. Yeah, and so I'm sure that there might be one or two that are actually Eagles fans and would be happy to, you know, have some kind of a reunion. But you come out to Guam and then tell all of the rest of the family and friends of the soldiers and sailors that we've got here that it's a cool place, and the next time your husband's got some leave, instead of him coming to you, you come out here. Know what I mean?
Absolutely, yes. I mean, I would love to get there someday. It's actually on my bucket list. And yes, thank you to all of our service members, you know, who sacrifice their time and their lives and time with their families to serve our country. I mean, there's nothing, you know, there's no greater sacrifice than that. So I'm so appreciative of, you know, everybody who dedicates their lives, you know, to the service. So I'm a family member of, a lot of my family was in the service, Marines, Air Force, Navy. So it's really something that's near and dear to my heart. And, yeah, thank you to all of these soldiers in Guam for all of their service.
Well, if you know, you're talking about the Air Force here, one of my favorite Air Force veterans is the guy that runs the Visitors Bureau, the former governor of Guam. When I said Carl, I meant Carl T.C. Gutierrez. And he's on the line right now and would like to welcome you to the airwaves on Guam. Uncle Carl.
Hi there. This is Carl Gutierrez. Welcome to Guam, USA.
Thank you so much. I've never thought that I'd be welcome to Guam over the phone, but this is an honor. And again, I apologize if it's a little loud. I actually work in sports media in Philadelphia, and I'm actually at the Eagles game right now, which has led me to Guam. So I am so thankful for the welcome. This is amazing. Well, I would have never expected this in my entire life.
Well, I hope you keep contact with us. We'd like to make some kind of arrangements to bring you out here and make sure you bring the good news back to the people of the United States.
I'm going to work on getting to Guam, and if you guys know anybody who want to fly me to Guam, I'm in. I'm totally in. So we should definitely work on this to get me out to Guam, because I would love to see the beaches. I'd love to meet the people. Everybody's been so nice and accommodating, and even the people from Guam who I've met on who I've met on the internet have been so nice to me.
Well, we'll make that happen. Just contact us, and we'll make it happen.
We'll share some contact information with you, Uncle Carl. Don't go too far away from the phone, Uncle Carl, because I'm going to want to talk to you and give you the family's blessings on your 80th birthday. I think that's fantastic. I'll talk to you later, okay?
All right.
Yes. God bless. Thank you. Thank you so much. Happy birthday.
There we go. 8:47 in the morning. So Natalie Eganoff is her name, and I want to say kind of a fixture in the sports media, as she says in Philadelphia. Although I was googling just before we got into the conversation, and you're somebody when you've got a Google entry, and I mean it actually comes out, and there's a picture of her, and it says that she's an American radio personality, et cetera, and then you've got the built-in Google questions, and one of them is, what happened to Natalie Eganoff? Why, Natalie, is there a heading like that in Google under your search? What happened to you? Natalie?
So I was on, hello, I'm still here, I'm sorry. So
Okay.
I was actually on Sports Talk Radio in Philadelphia here, and I was on, it was a simulcast television show. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get away from the noise.
It's all right.
Doing some work here at the Eagles game. And I left Philadelphia Sports Talk Radio, and now I'm working with Park Sportsbook, which is a Philadelphia-based online gambling company who does sports betting and in Pennsylvania and Michigan, and we're expanding to other states. So hopefully we expand to Guam.
Well, there's any number of things. We're a talk radio station, and we don't generally have a lot of sports talk programming, but it would be interesting to have somebody that maybe has an affinity for talking about things. We don't actually have a football team here on Guam. When my dad was still alive, he lived out in Matthews, North Carolina, and so he was a big fan of the Carolina Panthers, at least early on until they started to fall apart, and then would generally go back to being a fan of the Washington Redskins. But obviously the Eagles and the fans are making some big noise in the background. What are they? Is that "Let's Go Brandon" that they're chanting?
So they're chanting "Let's Go Birds," and right now the Philadelphia Eagles mascot Swoop is driving through the tailgate with the cheerleaders and the pep band, and there's a lot going on. And there's a lot going on where I am. I'm out here filming with my Park Sportsbook crew. But I wanted to make sure that I connected with you guys.
Well, I'm so glad that you did. I know how busy you are, being a little bit of at the fringes of show business here in Guam, USA, about 3 hours away from Tokyo, and many hours away from where you are. So I'm going to let you go. You've made an important and valuable connection with the former governor, and I hope it works out. And I hope that I'll be able to join you as you broadcast from one of our beaches here on Guam.
Look, I am ready to come to Guam whenever Guam is ready to have me. Let's make it happen.
The Real Joe is going to stay in touch with you. You have a fantastic rest of the day, and let's go Eagles, taking on the Buccaneers in about an hour and 10 or 15 minutes from now.
That's right. Thank you so much, Ray, for having me. I'll talk to you guys soon.
Pleasure's all ours. 10 away from the top of the hour. How about that? And an interesting connection. Good job, Real Joe, for reaching out to finding her on one of about 20 different social media outlets that she was on.
Yeah, she's got a lot of followers, man.
More than us?
Yeah.
More than PMES.
She's got a lot of followers.
Okay. Well, it's Philly. It's Philly.
Yeah.
They got people out there. Daryl Hall and John Oates got a Philly kind of love. Know what I mean? So what's it going to take? You know what I was thinking of? Here's the connection, guys. Let me get somebody better looking on the screen here.
Oh, thank you, Ray.
No problem. Here's the connection. This is the way we got to do this, right? So there's got to be in Philadelphia. There's got to be a liberator that's still alive.
Oh, wow.
World War II liberator, one of the Marines that landed on Guam, and maybe somebody that's still alive. And you know what? It might be clinging to the edge of life, but I think when he sees her, he'll go, yeah, travel with her. 25 hours, that's going to be my date to Guam. Okay, no problem. And bring somebody like her out there. And, any
that sounds
number
like
of
a bundle, Ray. You like to bundle.
Well,
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's
The
cheap.
hot chick and the veteran.
I don't think it's
One
cheap
shot.
round trip tickets from Philly to Guam and back.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's probably more than a PS5. I think it's more than a PS5. $1,275. At least that was the going rate when Mark got me the paperwork yesterday. Somebody up in Datado at Compadres Mall wants to sell a PS5 for $1,270. But then you going, where am I going to get that kind of money? Forget the government. Tonight, 7 o'clock over at Post Canteen. They're going to be having the Queen of Hearts drawing, and the prize now, the cash prize, is over $2,000 right now, and they've got to be getting to just the short rows on the number of cards that are left to turn over on that thing. So best of luck to you if you get a chance, if you're looking for an opportunity to get some masks. Lee Weber says, I was raised 75 miles from Philadelphia. I was raised 4,000 miles away from Philadelphia. We're just neighbors practically.
Wow.
George Macris, listening. What's that? After the chick from Costa Rica with the red dress. That's not a chick from Costa Rica. 8:52 in the morning, and we've got George Macris who's listening and seeing some of the reports that we are talking about here with the epidemiologist. And I tell you what, to the degree.
Say her name, Ray.
Pobletsky, Ann Pobletsky.
Thank you. I like her name.
Here's the thing. I mean, frankly, I had not heard from her all that much, and that's probably my fault. That's probably my fault as somebody that should be a little bit more of a lurker when it comes to news and information about all of this stuff. It's just that I've got so little trust anymore in any of the institutions that we've got around here these days. It's when somebody says, "Oh, it's the medical director of this or the epidemiological director of that," I just go kind of roll my eyes and say, "Okay, well, I'll take it at face value for in the very least, and until it's clear that that's somebody whose information that I can trust." And it looks like they've gone through the data and answered some important questions. What's going on with the breakthroughs? Where are we seeing them? There's more of them, even though she says not to obsess over them. There are more of them than I'd say were just anecdotal. There have been 2,859, quote, breakthrough cases among people who were fully vaccinated and subsequently tested positive. And then you look at the fatalities. And among deaths up until October the 1st, fully vaccinated were 13% of all of those who had died, but also had multiple comorbidities. So as Dr. Macris will say, you can run, but you can't hide. COVID-19 is here. The Delta variant is obviously circulating in this community, and you need to take adequate steps to protect yourselves. And if you think that the vaccine is the last of those steps, if you think that was the magic shot or the magic pill that you were going to take and that was going to make you safe from COVID, obviously the answer is no, that's not the case. And so we've got to do something else. What does all of the deaths have in common? And that's comorbidities. It's all of the things that we've been telling you since February of last year. I'm almost positive I played a video of a guy on YouTube. Weird kind of, Northern European accent. And he broke it all down based on data that they had in February of 2020. I said, look, yeah, this is going to be deadly for some people. It's going to attack people, in advanced or near advanced ages. And we've seen that here. I don't have the current median number, but my guess is it would be somewhere between about 58 and 62. And the average age of folks succumbing to COVID-19. But they knew that. That was already, it was in there. So it's going to go after old people. And we knew it was going to go after the unhealthy people as well. Because they said, based on the data that they had, heart disease, yeah, watch out. Respiratory issues, definitely watch out. You got diabetes and those kind of issues, cancers. Guess what? You've got and some people have multiples of those. You've got the comorbidities that make you a target. What did we concentrate on? Lockdowns and telling people they couldn't buy Zoris over at Kmart. But you could buy as many, as Pam Duvall will remember, you could buy as many ironing boards as you wanted to. I think ironing boards and vacuum cleaners, they had whole sections of that. that were on limits as far as people that were shopping. You remember they said you can go to the beach, but you can't drink at the beach? You remember that? Because, I don't know, whatever. And still there's, the conversation about hanging out in outdoors and getting exercises. There's whole groups, gyms that want to be able to bring more people into their places so that we can make them healthier. But unless you're vaccinated, you can't go. Unless you work in those places and are vaccinated or willing to test, you can't work there either. So it just seems to be counterintuitive to all of this stuff. They could have this time last year. And don't tell me, well, the governor didn't know that then. Yeah, she did. If I looked hard enough in the archives, I could find a videotape of her at a medical conference that took place in one of the fancy hotel rooms down in Tumon. And she said exactly what I am saying now. Older folks, people with comorbidities, but again,
I think that was a Rotary.
That might have been, but all of the efforts that we have had here to date have been to restrict people's movements, to try to get them vaccinated with the shots or whatever, and to try to scare us into thinking that if you get sick, they're going to turn you away at the hospital, or that you were going to lay down at night and go to sleep and you're going to wake up dead.
I do that every morning.
I know how that
right?
sounded. I know how that sounded. But you know what I'm trying to say. And now there's going to be another level of all of that that's going to be coming to us. 8:57 and change. Just be on the lookout for it. Now we've got the guidance on how we're going to be doing Halloween in 2021. First of all, the first strike against Halloween this year, it's on a Sunday night.
Yep.
That's it. It's on a Sunday night, and I don't know if the malls or any of those places, shopping areas. Back in the day, back in like 2019, and it was Halloween. Did everybody go and hit up all of the rich guy villages?
Yes.
The ones without gates. Yes.
Oh, even Santa Rita too. They party hard there, man.
Hey,
in the lower.
I know it.
Hyundai.
Did you find Mark? Mark was go fireworks me, but. For Halloween, 8:58 and change. That's the way we did it back in those days. Now what we're going to have is drive-through Halloween exhibits. So you'll be able to get the kids, and we're going to find a street, and we'll have Halloween decorations over here and spooky music over there, and maybe some volunteers in costumes that are out there handing out the fun-sized candies and all of that stuff. Hooray for Halloween! You know what's going to be interesting is. Old people. And when I say old people now, I mean 21, 22 years old. They're going to be telling the kids, man, our Halloween's back in the day. Psh, crazy. Go up to Barragata Heights, walk up the hill. Stop by, whose house is that? That's Ray's house. But Ray's house was just on the way to the other Ray Guerrero's place, right? You remember Ray at the end of the cul-de-sac?
To the better candy.
Oh man, that guy had base candy, big bars, but they always set up their place as a kind of a Halloween thing. Oh, so there's what I'm looking forward to. There's the one nice house up on Tiedzin on the Magagaga Highway, and remember how they had
cemetery
they
style.
had the little cemetery thing in the front yard, and they had to build it twice because of the rains and the wind that year. But maybe they're going to be doing the same thing. That's worth driving to go and take a look at for those Halloween decorations. In the meantime, we'll talk about some of the requirements. And this is going to be interesting. It's 10 seconds away from the top of the hour. You realize that you can't get a PS5, but you can get a Squid Games costumes, and masks and things like that. More on that in just a little bit. Be right back.
This is a Fox News alert. Life in prison. I'm Lisa Lacera. That's the sentence for real estate heir Robert Durst for the murder of a woman he called his best friend more than 20 years ago.
Ahead of sentencing, the prosecution argued against a defense request for a new trial. Judge Mark Wyndham said in response, there was ample evidence that Durst killed his friend Susan Berman.
Mr. Durst confessed to the crime and the special circumstance of witness killing to Nick Chavin. The crime scene evidence provides the minimum corroboration a confession requires. This is proof beyond a reasonable doubt.
Berman's adopted son, Sarab Kaufman, gave a gut-wrenching victim impact statement.
My mind, body, and soul tortured by the effects this has had on me every second for 21 years, and likely to go on the rest of my life.
Durst sat back in his wheelchair as the judge sentenced him to life in prison. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
President Biden says the federal government is ready if the FDA and CDC authorize COVID vaccines for young children.
I'm calling on more parents to get their children vaccinated when they are eligible. And I'm asking everyone who hasn't gotten vaccinated, please get vaccinated.
The president said about 66 million Americans still have not gotten the shot. Earlier today, an FDA advisory panel okayed a booster COVID shot from Moderna for those most at risk, including senior citizens. They're expected to consider a booster from Johnson & Johnson tomorrow. A federal judge has extended a ban on United Airlines putting employees on unpaid leave for seeking a medical or religious exemption from the airline's COVID vaccine requirement. Employees have sued the airline over the mandate. Authorities in Norway say yesterday's bow and arrow attack that killed 5 people in a small town near the capital of Oslo appears to be an act of terror. The suspect, a Danish citizen, was arrested a short time after the attack. America is listening to Fox News.
Over the past 5 years, confidential data and network breaches have doubled for small and large businesses, resulting in huge financial loss. At GTA, our multi-threat security bundle is a cost-effective solution monitored by our team of experts, ready to detect known malware and stop new evolving cyber threats before entering your network.
Protect your business with confidence and call 671-644-1000 or visit gta.net/enterprise. GTA, we start with you.
Has succeeded beyond our imagination. You can't force people to watch a news channel. They do it because they feel that there's something in it for them. Coming up on Justice! All the time, as I crisscross this country, people will say, you know, as soon as it's 9 o'clock, no one can speak in our house. I'm floored when I hear people say that. Never, ever did I think that people would notice me. I mean, I'm just Janine.
The case of a lawyer who's already in trouble with the law is more complex with new legal troubles.
South Carolina lawyer Alex Murdaugh, already facing charges for fraud and who allegedly tried staging his own attempted killing, is now in custody again, this time in Orlando, where he reportedly sought addiction treatment. Florida officials will send Murdaugh back to South Carolina to face new accusations of illegally obtaining insurance settlements connected to the 2018 death of family housekeeper Gloria Satterfield. Earlier this year, Murdaugh reported finding his wife and adult son shot to death. The son was facing charges for a death related to intoxicated boating. In Broward County, Florida, Eben Brown, Fox News.
Microsoft is shutting down LinkedIn in China later this year. The company says it faces a significantly more challenging operating environment and greater compliance requirements in China. It says it will replace LinkedIn with a new app called In Jobs that has career networking features, but will not include a social feed or the ability to share posts or articles. Thousands of workers at John Deere have walked off the job.
Over 10,000 workers at 14 different John Deere locations went on strike at midnight after the UAW said its members voted down a tentative deal that union negotiators had characterized as providing significant economic gains and the highest quality health care benefits in the industry, though a deal that was in part criticized for denying traditional pensions to new employees and failing to improve an incentive program. And as John Deere says that it'll work day and night to understand its employees' priorities and resolve the strike, while also keeping its operation running for the benefit of all those it serves. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
Wall Street, the Dow plus 534, the NASDAQ added 251, the S&P up 74. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
Looking for a seamless medical trip to Manila? St. Luke's Medical Center offers a convenient end-to-end medical travel service and direct access to St. Luke's, Quezon City, and Global City. St. Luke's Medical Travel Service covers patients from the Pacific and provides services such as air travel assistance, airport to hospital transportation, hospital admission, and more. To learn more, call Phil MD 671-637-5433 or visit their office in Tamuning, Guam across Baltej Pavilion. At St. Luke's, we love life.
Contact Express Financial for all your financial needs. Express Financial is consumer lending at its very best. They also have a host of dealer service programs with quick approvals. There are 3 ways to apply. Over the phone at 637-9834. You may visit their office in person at 600 Harmon Loop Road across the street from Costules. Or you can also visit their webpage and apply at myexpressfinancial.com. In most cases, you'll get your money the same day.
Choosing health insurance
insurance for my family is difficult. I need to know our health insurance will protect us now and in the future. Take Care members have access to the island's largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs, and a high-quality credentialed network of on- and off-island healthcare providers, including the convenient one-stop FHP Health Center and urgent care. My family choose Take Care. Your family should also consider choosing Take Care. Call 671-647-3526 for more information. Take Care, our island, your health plan.
Ray Gibson Show brought to you by APL. That's American President Lines, a global presence with a local home. Also being brought to you by the guys over at Olive Garden. Takeout platters, $50. And you're going, how many people can I feed on that? Well, if it was me, just me, because I got big appetite, and the food over at Olive Garden is fantastic. But definitely you can get an entire family fed. Breadsticks, house salad. We got fried mozzarella or spinach artichoke dip as well. Your choice of a bunch of different platters. Chicken Alfredo, shrimp and bacon rigatoni. You had me at bacon. Chicken and shrimp carbonara, 5-cheese ziti al forno, chicken parmesan, and lasagna classico. Available at Olive Garden. Come on, all these years. We'd ask on the radio, say, what restaurants you want here? Olive Garden. You go, everybody call it. Oh, we need an Olive Garden. We need an Olive Garden. Okay, we got one. So go eat at the place, would you? And grab one of these platters to go, would you?
News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. The Ray Gibson Show.
7 after 9 o'clock in the morning. Everything old is new again. It's just a thought that's in my head right now. If you're driving up and down Marine Corps Drive in the East Agania area, no doubt you have looked and said, wow, that's red. And that's we're talking about the Linda's Cafe, which after being closed for a while, it looks like it's going to be reopening. And they got the last of the good red paint from over at Home Depot. It's kind of a Chinese, kind of a red, rosewood red that they've painted up. You know what it reminds me of is Judy Guthert's hair. You remember what she had? That burnt orange thing going? Yeah. But anyway, so that's the thing. And it got me thinking about, what restaurants, if you could, what restaurants from back in the day that have closed down from a long time ago would you bring back? Now I'll start you off. The low-hanging fruit in the conversation will always be Cool Spot. Everybody's bring back Cool Spot. That's the best food in the world.
The Boigas.
And it would be even more popular these days. You know why? Because now there's internet. Back in the old days, there was no internet, so you could call in your order, and we often would. We'd call from Mom's house, and we'd call and say, hey, we're coming down here, get some of those big boy burgers or whatever, and some ribs, and we drive slow because it always took a long time to get it, right? Because there were already 50 other people that wanted burgers behind you that they called in first. So you always take your time when you get down there, and then you'd be sitting underneath the umbrella, and you'd have to make small talk for another half hour until your food's finally ready, but it's worth the wait. Can you imagine how much better it is now? Because you got your phone. You got the phone. Like, we're already used to waiting in line. I'd like to see that come back. Sargosi's, the old pizza place. I don't know if you're old enough to remember Sargosi's.
No, I don't, man.
It's where the jewelry store and the gas station are in East Agania. It's a great place to go from back in the olden days. It was a nice place to go and get pizza. And my recollection is they had basically two kinds of pizza. We have cheese pizza and we have pepperoni pizza. I don't remember there being any of the other flavors of pizza. 9 after 9 in the morning, and for total business meeting, that kind of thing, and the looking for a successful first date. You define success any way you want to. I won't judge. The Galleon Grill at the Hilton. Yeah. That was a spot. You know where Islander Terrace is? You go this way, and there's the elevators in the bathroom. Right now, Galleon Grill was at the end of that hall, and that was incredible fine dining. There's some great maitre d's in there that would help you with a successful first date. Great food, and I don't recall the prices being all that out of line. Not like now. It's 10 after 9 o'clock in the morning. Dr. George Macris. Online checking in from the free zone, and he admitted listen, while you're talking to that pretty chick from Philly, I'm going to go and check out what the epidemiologist has to say on the link. And so my question was, and I think it's a valid question, who's smarter, me or the people that work over at KUAM?
I think you were pretty spot on. I don't know that there was a great deal of information offered. But what was not offered is what was most interesting to me.
Oh, interesting. Okay, so they're not as smart as me. Okay.
Well, what they did not discuss, and they just passively mentioned the natural immunity, and they kind of capped it at the number of people who were infected on Guam. The epidemiologists, I think Dr. Who was her name, they didn't have time, or maybe they really should have discussed the actual estimated number of people that have natural immunity on Guam, which can be enormous, nor was there even any attempt or any discussion. If I was able to listen in, I would say, why don't you estimate the number of infected people with some, a reasonable sampling of antibody testing? And it's finger stick testing, very easy. And I think, so anyway, at the end of the...
But the answer, Doc, is that they don't care about the answer. I don't know that anybody in the healthcare industry anywhere really cares about the answer. We know that we've got a bunch of people that tested positive for COVID-19. Still, no guesses as to where they might be in that infection, whether they were actively sick from COVID-19 at the time, whether they were asymptomatic, or whether they had it and had built up the antibodies from the disease. I don't think they care. The rush is to get everybody vaccinated.
Well, the data shows from Guam is that the vast majority of them were asymptomatic. They just lined up to get tested, or there were those maybe trapped coming off an airplane or something like that. But the conclusion was Guam's actually in good shape, and compared to other parts of the United States. And I'm just absolutely amazed. They talk about a variety of how many breakthroughs there are, et cetera, but they really need to find out how many people are breaking through who have natural versus vaccine or artificial immunity. So,
what are the national numbers?
I got to go and look at the breakthrough numbers. I'm sorry, I didn't prepare for that, but their answer, I have to compare Guam to the national numbers. Their comment, somebody commented that somebody said they were more, and I think the epidemiologist said, no, they're about the same. I would have to confirm that. But it doesn't matter at the end of the day what's going on with the hospital. And at the end of the day, the numbers are falling. And the reason they're falling is because you have so many people on Guam who have hybrid immunity. And so many people, as they mentioned, 1% of the population at times being tested per day, so many people volunteering to be tested, the numbers kind of get skewed because, as we say in medicine, if you don't take a temperature, you don't find a fever. Again, don't get tested if you don't have symptoms.
Well, but the other side of that is the horror story that they say, get yourself tested. Don't wait until it's too late to get help, because you never know unless you know.
Yeah, but what would you get tested for? You feel good and you're asymptomatic? That makes.
But
no
if you have
sense.
comorbidities and you're old and you might lay down and wake up dead the next morning and arrive dead on arrival at the nearest hospital.
Yeah, but those people were obviously symptomatic. You do not go from asymptomatic to dead overnight. You have a prodrome. It's probably 3 to 5 days of some type of an illness, if not more, and then you go into an active phase. Once again, the data we learned last week when they reported a 1 day with COVID. We realized that you can't trust the releases from GovGuam, at least. You have no idea how many people have. Remember, they're just a positive test, and what you actually see and what they reported in that discussion was that the vast, vast, vast majority of people were just incidentally found to be positive, who had died from other comorbidities. You can have a bacterial pneumonia and then have an incidental colonization with coronavirus, because remember, there's animal reservoirs. We're never going to eliminate that disease because it's not just humans, it's animal reservoirs. They find it in deer, they find it in dogs, they find it in cats. Who knows, maybe they'll find it in birds. But Guam is in good shape, and I want to say once again, I'm pro-vaccine because vaccination softens the blow on that trip to getting natural immunity. And it is not pandemic, it is endemic, and that's so obvious. It will not leave the island for centuries, well, centuries, maybe decades.
But
I found that
in the meantime, we can milk it. We can milk it for all it's worth. There's conversations about new requirements. I mean, I don't know that I sent you. I'm sure you could get your hands on it. The very interesting multiple pages of the appropriate and safe ways to celebrate Halloween and All Souls Day that are coming up, and just couldn't resist the opportunity to put together, to scare people into if you've got a mask, don't forget to wear a mask underneath it. You should still have a good COVID-19 mask if you're going out doing the Halloween thing, and talking about alternative ways to celebrate as opposed to trying to drive the conversation towards normalcy. And again, what I think one of the other great scare campaigns that they have worked on to the degree, and it's worked very, very well, is scaring people into the fear that children are going to get COVID-19 in schools, and we're just not seeing that. I mean, I know it sounds hard on a morning where both of the newspapers are clamoring with the headline that says a 4-month-old died, and that is very, very sad. And obviously, I wish it were other, and my thoughts and prayers go out to the family. But the vast majority of young people in this town and every other town are not going to get sick from COVID-19, and I don't understand why there are so many restrictions being placed on them, their education, and now with Halloween, et cetera, their social lives.
Right. There's not enough information to conclude that the child died exclusively from coronavirus. You don't have that information. So, but even with that information, you have to understand Guam has one of the highest population densities. It has high population densities per household. You're not going to, escape it. So once again, people just stay healthy, take their vitamins, and get vaccinated if they care to enhance their ability to have a minimally or asymptomatic case to get their natural immunity. Now, let me tell you what we're doing here. We're finding the CDC is kind of against vaccinating people with boosters, and to some extent, there's even more to it. Some of the third shots are unnecessary, and some people have problems with it. They'll get some significant reactions. So what we're doing is, depending on the patient, we're doing antibody tests. And what I am finding is that people have they still have significant antibodies to COVID, even when they're due for their booster. And furthermore, people on Guam, with the virus circulator are continuously being stimulated. And I can tell from a test, I can tell if you have vaccine immunity, or I can tell if you have natural immunity, or you have both. It's a very easy test to do. And I think the government should be doing that. And I think people who are hesitant to get boosters or even vaccines get the antibody test. If you're positive, you can stop right there if it's a natural immunity.
Right. Interesting. One of the highlights, and I'm sure you saw this as you were reviewing the information yesterday, the average number of days between final vaccination dose and receipt of a positive test, 146 or 4.5 months since that last vaccination dose and the onset of one of the breakthrough cases. And the other, and I'm going to refer to it as an admission, the Pfizer vaccine, 64.9 of the breakthrough cases were folks that had lined up for the Pfizer shots. What do you glean out of those two factoids?
Well, I think it was I think it's appropriate to say maybe the Pfizer was the first one out of the gate, and also what I hadn't had a chance to calculate was the percentage per vaccine. But I can tell you that even if you had the vaccine 1 month ago or 2 months ago, it does not prevent you from being colonized and having a positive test without disease. And I can tell you that naturally immune people have the lowest viral counts, and Pfizer and unvaccinated people have the highest, and Pfizer is just under the unvaccinated people. Moderna's next. JJ, I don't know where that sits because they didn't have that data. So no matter what, people I think that your position trying to tell the public that, and I don't know, I'm only one doctor who speaks of many that you have on your show, is that Guam is in good shape. People who they're pushing to get vaccinated, who they're blaming as possibly spreading the virus, who, by the way, spread the virus no different than vaccinated people.
Thanks.
They may already be immune.
Right.
So I don't know what their insurance status is. I don't know what they're charging, but either get the vax or get the test.
Let's see if I can find a test out here somewhere. I get one of my doctor buddies to see what they've got. 20 after 9. And my thoughts, majority of Pfizer vaccine, 64.9. You're right. It is. We need to take a look at these percentages and then see that 64.9%, how representative of that is of the same number of people that took that. Did we get about 65% of the vaccinated that took the Pfizer? So that would make sense if they fall in the same number range. 26.4 with the Moderna, and 6.4 for the Johnson & Johnson, and others are unknown. It would put it down to some of the crazy Chinese vaccines that we've got out here. But, yeah, I think there's a lot of people that said, oh, Pfizer, that's the one for me, and lined up for that and said, well, I'd rather have that than the other. And maybe that's what's contributing to the numbers. Maybe a global scale is what's needed here. 9:21 in the morning. It's not Costa Rica. The pretty lady was, while she might look Costa Rican, she's a Philly girl.
I saw that. And before I go, I want to comment on gone restaurants and hair.
Yes. Hair, gone restaurants and hair.
Yeah, well, the hair was Judy Guthard's hair, which looks like Jen Psaki's hair. They probably both had the same hairdresser. And the restaurants that I miss were Cool Spot and Pepe's Mexican Restaurant.
Oh, there's a memory that I'm going to have to fight. Where now? The Mexican, that's Marine Corps Drive, right across from
That was
Club Yobo.
It was right behind Texas, I think. But
yeah,
no, it was right off. It was right behind where Texas was.
Yobo's over there.
And,
Texas was over here. Wait. Texas was in Agana, Anigua.
No, wait a minute.
Dallas. You're thinking of Club Dallas.
Right. It was that area right down from Dallas. Yeah, right that area. Sorry, Dallas, Texas, whatever. But anyway, that was a fantastic
It's a real estate.
fusion
It's a real
restaurant.
estate shop now, bro. It's a real estate. It's
Right. It was a fantastic restaurant, and then Cool Spot, as you know, had the best hamburgers for the era.
They had great ribs. You can recreate that if you can find the patties. They weren't necessarily hand thrown, but the patties and use some relish in there. I think that's one of the flavors that most people, and a little bit of ketchup and mayonnaise for some of the sauce. There wasn't. It was the consistency and the great flavors and the love that they put into all of that. Doc, it's always fun talking with you. Are you taking a trip to Costa Rica over the weekend?
Next weekend.
You almost say that like there's some kind of a state secret we're trying to protect. Next weekend.
No, I've got next weekend. The mission is to test a particular server, a computer system.
Hey, okay,
So
in Costa Rica.
There's a purpose to it.
Okay,
yeah, we're testing a medical to see if we can access our EHR through the security protocols from Costa Rica.
All right, gotcha. Have a good time with that, why don't you? It's 9:23 in the morning. My name is Ray. That's Dr. George Macris, and we'll goof off and kill some more hours of vital hours and minutes of talk radio next week. Okay, bye. Okay, I'm hanging up now. Okay, you say I love you first. Okay, no, can you say I miss you like Mike Sinclair said earlier today?
That was genuine, Ray.
That was.
I felt it.
That was. Did I say a bad word? The phones all of a sudden went flurry.
Oh, no. The people are calling up saying that they want Chuck Steakhouse back. A couple of other places they want back, restaurants.
Do you remember them? You're not honoring the callers by not remembering. So it was just Chuck's that they were calling in on?
And he also said...
Wait, I got to write it down. Chuck's, Cool Spot.
M's.
Pepe's. Oh, M Steakhouse up in
Dedido, yeah.
Yeah, it was Dedido.
Underneath
it was M's and became then it became I want to say Mr. B's or something like that. Baldonado was the name of the fella that ran the place, and he's one of these guys that knew his way around kitchens and dining rooms for a long time. Nice fella, if I recall. So you got that Cool Spot, M's. Is there anybody with any of the love for the Epicure in Agana?
Oh, yeah.
The sushi place?
They had a rotary there.
They had a rotary sushi thing there, and it was the first, I remember, we used to go there all the time. I mean, it was, because you could combine, it was sushi and happy hour. And we could go in there, and it was a great time. It was well lit, and it was the kind of place where you could sit next to your girlfriend, and she couldn't tell what hotties you were looking at that were kind of along because or when they sat across. I don't know. There was something about the layout of the place where it was conducive for eye games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then they shut it down. And last I heard, it was one of the assets in the archdiocese, wasn't it? Is that,
Yeah.
It was, and I think they're selling it off or something like that.
They sold it to the archdiocese, and then they ran a thrift shop out of there.
Did they?
For a little bit, yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna put.
I used to drop stuff there.
Not necessarily. I want it back, but I've got good memories of the place. All right, and someplace that is it okay to say that we want it back? Leo's.
Yeah.
In Tumon.
Tumon with the half bug sticking out of the wall.
Bantai is what it is now. It's Bantai in Tumon, but back in the day, it used to be a place called Leo's, and before it was Leo's, I'm gonna pause talking here and let everybody else finish it. Before it was Leo's, do you remember what it was before that? Back in the day, it rhymes with Salzburg Chalet. Do you remember? German/Austrian food was served in there by a guy. He ended up taking his own life, but the guy that run the place had the most haunting kind of gray silver eyes. If I remember, he was one of these guys. Looked like he could see right through you. Now I'd go in there every once in a while, and we'd have dinner. Me and the girl I was dating, we'd have dinner in there every once in a while when I had extra money. But mostly. We'd show up near closing time because they made a great chocolate souffle. And some of you, if you're from around my time, you'll remember how it worked. It was a great chocolate souffle. The one that they've got over at Roy's. They did one.
Oh yeah,
just as good, if not better, than that. I want to say there was a little bit of cherry in the chocolate flavors that they had. 9:27 in the morning. 888-825-5888-TALK. Just having a good time. Like I said, Linda's is coming back, and there's so many people that are excited to be able to get that old school flavor. Please, hire either the same cook or somebody that's got his DNA in there, and pray that in the cost of the red paint that they've got, which is exactly the same color as the red paint that is the trim of the radio station. And next time that can I put it up on the screen? Maybe later. Bob Kelly's on the line. Good morning, Bob. How you doing there, buddy?
Good. Just wanted to add two more nominations.
Sure.
Seafood Grotto was in Tumon.
Grotto. Is that where by the Pac Star?
No, that would be kind of, I think, now where around where the Westin is, and in that area. It was up a little bit higher, great view out, fantastic seafood.
You're not talking about the Seahorse restaurant, are you?
No, not the Seahorse. That was called Seafood Grotto.
I got to ask Shelley.
And then the other one, I really would love to have Kenny's Steakhouse with the chicken, the steak, the onion rings, and so on.
Onion rings, that's what you go for. Fried shrimp, also very, very good, and any number of other things that would clog your arteries. I think the family might be, at least they did for a while. I think they were also messing around. They had a spot up at the Old Cliff Hotel.
They did, and it was only there for about a year. I certainly went up there. They had pretty much a similar menu. And at one time, they actually had two while they were open in Manila. They actually had a second location that was located above where Guam Lock and Key is.
The old, golly, what was that? There was, I remember what you're talking about there. It was Rob Call used to run the place back with the first restaurant I want to say was in there was called Robbo's.
Yeah, but anyway, I miss Kenny's very much. It was just a great place to go to once, twice a month. And like you said, the shrimp, the fish, the onion rings, the chicken, even the steak. He marinated a relatively low grade of steak, but after it was marinated, it had the unique Kenny's taste and had the smothered onions on it. It was just a good place to go.
All right, so the answer on that, we get to piece basically chuck and try to figure out how to is you soak it in Baking powder.
Mango juice. No, I thought it was mango juice or something.
It's that or baking powder. Yeah. Trust. It's one of the powdery things that you put in there to soften things up. I hear what you're saying. That's a good one. While you were talking, there was a couple other names that popped through. Yakitori, 1 or 2. I think most people remember 2.
On Marine Drive.
Yep. And I was talking about this place the other day as having a pleasant memory of having lunch with my father, and every once in a while, if he didn't pick me up for Rotary, we'd pick me up and we'd go eat at the Ivory, where the new Shirley's is in Agania at that old building there.
Was it actually? Wait a minute. Was it where Shirley's is, or was it more on the corner, going more toward Agania? Same building, but Shirley's, I think, is located about 3 doors down. I think Ivory was located at the end, if I remember.
You could be right, but not in the same place.
Right building, but just a different portion of the building. But yes, Ivory and had fantastic food.
Yeah, they did. Chef Eddie, and a great place for him to experiment with some of the things. Hey, I'm going to let you go back because it sounds like you guys are about to get into a fight in that place. I'll talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bob Kelly on the line. While I'm thinking about it, where Ivory was and Shirley's, there was another restaurant that popped into that place. He eventually went on and did some business in Tamuning in a place I think that turned into the kimchi store. You remember Uncle Sam's?
No. Uncle Sam's? No.
Yeah, I want to say old Korean fella, and he always walked around the store with an Uncle Sam red, white, and blue top hat.
No, that sounds amazing.
God, the 80s and 90s were awesome.
Really cool.
It really was. Guys, if you just came to Guam, or maybe you just turned the age of listening to talk radio, we really had some great spots to go and hang out. There was record stores. We had Mad Mel's Music and Videos, Hutch's Music. And then there's a couple of places over in the mall. Back when you could go someplace and just flip through CDs and LPs. Once upon a time, you remember the first of the video places that opened up. You remember Friday? This is what we'd be talking about. If it was any Friday in about 1985, 86, something like that, we would be talking about. I'll meet you at Blockbuster.
Oh, yeah.
And we try to get into Blockbuster, somewhere in between the time they put out the new videos and the time that they left almost immediately, right? And you remember, you'd go there, and then you might find one video that was really cool, and you get a couple of, just to kill the time over the weekend. And then they got smart and said, you know what, we're going to start selling the same stuff they sell at the movie theaters. So you could get, with your Blockbuster card, who still has their Blockbuster? Somebody's going to send me a picture of their Blockbuster card on the WhatsApp, 988-5874. But your Blockbuster card would get you a bunch of movies, and on top of that, you could get a thing of popcorn and a big tall thing of Coke or Pepsi or something like that, and
candies,
all of the candies, and it didn't seem to bother anybody that they were selling the candies for the same prices they were selling them in the movie theaters, or darn close to it back in those days. Wow, Blockbuster Video, 9:33 in the morning. I wonder if there might still be one Blockbuster left in America. I'm not sure if there's going to be one Walgreens left in America. Did you see what they're closing down Walgreens?
Yeah, a lot of theft.
We're in a small talk portion of it because in California, they want to take it easy on the poor, underprivileged people that have no choice but to turn to a life of crime, and said, you know what, you go in there, unless you steal over $1,000 worth of stuff here, we're not going to bother you. We're not going to call the police, because that just leads to opportunities for police brutality, right?
Of course.
And the Walmarts now, or is it Walmart? Yeah.
Walgreens.
It's Wal something.
Yeah.
Walgreens. How it's pronounced on Mark's Walgreens. They've shut those places down and are referring to it as organized crime, organized shoplifting and theft that they've got in there, because people know that they can go in there and basically take what they want, walk out the store. Hey, I'm not paying. And you can't. Businesses don't operate well when you've got that degree of shoplifting and probably even pilfering and that kind of thing. So expect that they are going to be going out. I will point out, though, I want to take a look at the share numbers for the parent company, because I'm sure that the investors looked at that and said, thank you for showing some common sense. If you can't make money in that location because the city will allow people to walk in and steal things from you without paying, maybe it's a smart idea to shut down. this is where that kind of crazy liberal thinking is going to have an impact now, because the reaction is going to be, but what about the people now that need to go to a drugstore? What about the people now that, in the community that were supporting those businesses? What's going to happen to them now? They're going to have to go out of their way to get all of the things that they need. A couple of other interesting stories. Do I have time? I should take a break, right?
Yeah, you should, man.
Have we done a break at all this hour?
No, not yet. We're ready.
You're
ready.
Is there hot dogs?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's 9:35. Real Joe and I concur there should be some kind of a break. We'll take that in a sec.
Great news, Guam! Chili's 2 for Dining is back. Enjoy a full-on meal deal made for 2 for just $35. Start with 2 Coca-Cola beverages, an appetizer to share, and 2 mouth-watering entrees like the sizzling personal fajitas, the mouth-watering honey chipotle steak and shrimp, or Chili's world-famous fall-off-the-bone baby back ribs. Available for a limited time. Dine in today or call 648-7377 to place to-go orders. Chili's is located on the 2nd floor of Tuman Sands Plaza. Chili's. Savor the moment.
Di ang inyong bangko na tapat sa serbisyo. Tunay na kaibigan at handa para sa inyo. Ang bangko ng kinabukasan, laging maaasahan. And Pacific, where others took branches, we place through.
Fall in love with your new home this season by shopping Furniture Kathy Style's unbelievable deals. We've brought in new items and restocked on our best sellers to help you get your home ready for the holiday. We offer free design consultation and financing with up to 12 months of zero interest for you to get what you want and what you need for your home today. Follow us on social media, visit our website at FurnitureKathyStyle.com, or call us at 300-9590 for more information. If you're not buying from us, you're paying too much.
Old Agania Grill.
Yes.
I don't think I ever ate in there.
What?
Pretty sure I didn't eat.
You drank.
There was a lot of that going on. There's a lot of that. That's, for those of you that are wondering, what was the fascination with Old Agania? For me, it was walking into a bar and going, wow, never been in a place where I didn't know all the white people. Because it was like everybody would hang out in there, all the lawyers and everything.
It was fancy in there, man.
Yeah. Latinos was the name of the restaurant that I was thinking of before I got to Agania Grill. I was trying to put it together in my head. There was Bernie and Phyllis Latino, and Bernie used to work over at the port, and Phyllis and his mother-in-law would spend the rest of the time, and they would start an Italian sauce on Sunday night, and by Friday it was ready for
a slow simmer.
Oh man! Oh yeah!
Stirring.
They had and it's Dave Alcorn and I'm trading some information back and forth on the WhatsApp. Dave Alcorn, incidentally, King's Restaurant. From back
Gibson's.
in the day, yeah, when it was in the Gibson's building,
yeah,
back when we called it Gibson's, but he was instrumental in helping bring the Wendy's franchise back to Guam when they first did that. But for just the perfect times was to be able to transition from fine dining at the captain's table.
Oh yes,
wooden menus.
Oh, I remember that place.
Is that right? Was it wooden menus at your place? But the transitioning from the captain's table, then at about 9:30-ish, they'd take all of the fancy silverware and the linen covers of the table, and then it was Captain's was the video disco that we all used to have a good time in. Yeah. You're legend, Dave. You are absolutely legend. But Bernie Latino's place, you could go there and 2 people could eat. You could get a couple of lasagnas or spaghetti or meatballs or something like that. You could get and another one of these places. Not a big menu. Not a huge menu. It was just here's salad and here is spaghetti and here is some lasagna. I'd go in there for the lasagna and they had the salad and it was it's like a little Japanese salad, mostly little tomatoes and lettuce and vinegar. That's it.
Yeah,
That's all
sounds
you
good
need.
to me.
Just vinegar. Is there oil? No, just put some vinegar in it. That's you just need to. It's just going to balance out some of the rest of the flavors that you had there. A couple of cold beers, and that was also a great first date restaurant. It's also kind of a cool go to. I got to do a shout while I'm thinking about restaurants, and I hope these guys never go away. And that's my boys over at Jamaican Grill. Had the craving for it all weekend long, and finally had an opportunity to get in there and talk about it. 888-825-5888-TALK. Phone number. I'm going around here. Is there a current restaurant I got to do an ad for?
Yeah.
Which one?
Pyology.
Duh. I thought we were going to move that. I thought we were going to move Pyology, so I didn't have to come up with a different joke every day for it.
Yeah, man, I moved it down a little further. It wasn't the first one, so.
No, all right. Yeah. So it's going to be lunchtime today. I was talking about Sargosi's earlier, and earlier I was talking about you talk about your limited menu. I don't remember ever getting at Sargosi's Pizza anything other than a cheese or a pepperoni pizza. I don't know that they had other toppings there. They might have. I just don't remember them because I was a little kid. Flash forward now, 2021. There's a Pyology. Not that far away from the old Kings. There's a Pyology in that building out there, and the groovy thing about there's a Kings that's still there, by the way, FYI. But you go to Pyology, and you can have virtually any kind of pizza that you want. You want one that's all cheese, they can do that. You want one that's all vegetables, they can do that. You want one that's all meat. They got 100 different kinds of meat. All right, don't count them. I'm just I'm exaggerating, right? But I'm trying to do the sell there so that you can get a couple of people that might not agree on what kind of pizza that they want. Fine, I'll get one that I like, and you'll make one that you like, and you get a couple of those. You got a salad, or get a soft drink. You can get that with a couple of the deals. But what a great way to get things started into the weekend. Swing by Pyology, can't miss them, and enjoy the great flavors. And it's great because you build it yourself. I'm done.
Guam Auto Spot has the best selection in Buick, GMC, Mitsubishi, and used cars like the 2021 Mitsubishi Mirage starting at $127 per paycheck. Zero down. Call 671-478-AUTO to take a test drive or get pre-approved online at GuamAutospot.com.
Nice. Yeah, and Dave agrees. Latinos was kind of an amazing place. We really did do well. Stop and think about it. Guam, 28 miles. What is it? 20 miles top to bottom. 4 where it's wide. 4 where it's narrow. Down around Route 4. 8 where the island is wide. And a population, 165,000. And all of the different sensations, taste sensations that we've been treated to, and for a lot of different reasons. As we've got our own palates around here, recognizing, of course, that the Guam is home to rotating members of the Armed Forces of the United States of America, and there are businesses that have popped up in order to satisfy those urges and cravings. Is it possible, Real Joe, that if there was no military on Guam, there wouldn't be Mexican restaurants?
Oh, yeah.
Think about that.
Gringos love Mexican food.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Is it spicy? We'll make it as spicy as you can handle there, son. You with the red hair, maybe none for you because you're just gonna go bam. You're gonna be incandescent red when we're done eating some of this stuff. No, I know a guy. It's like
combustion.
Ketchup is spicy for him. I'm not sure about that. But you got that, and then we got the great population of tourists that used to come to Guam. You remember back in the day where a lot of the businesses on Guam survived because of the hospitality industry. Well,
Cocos Island,
not so much. Oh, Cocos Island.
Was popping back then.
Back in the day. You get on a boat and go out there. You get on the old glass bottom boats and get out there and goof off and then pretend that you missed the last ride so you could stay over in one of the bungalows find a couple of towels and sleep on
everybody with their Chat Max out there.
Best place. What was now thinking about
I'm just kidding.
Join us.
Join us.
I heard 9:45 there because there used to be a bar once upon a time. These little there used to be a bar in that building. Some of the real old timers will remember going upstairs when you were done because there was also a little tiny hotel thing up on the third floor of the Tumon Sands Plaza. And I guarantee there's people listening going, "There's a third floor." Hiya, Dave. 9:44 in the morning. Candidate sending this birthday greeting out. Happy birthday, Governor Carl Gutierrez. You are still the one. And I'll put this up on the screen so that you can see it. One of my favorite pictures of Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez. If for no other reason that wait, I got to press another button. If for no other reason, it's the kind of can-do guy that this Governor Carl is. This picture, unless I'm too far off, might be the demolition of the old Guam Memorial Hospital building.
Wow.
Might be. Might. Whatever it was something that needed to get knocked down. And was something that had been standing for far too long, and the conventional wisdom was knock the thing down. Former Governor Gutierrez knows a thing or two about the construction industry, and get in a bulldozer, get into something like that. He knows how to mess around with the pedals and the knobs and that kind of thing. And sure enough, knock the thing down. Great photo op. There are other great photos of former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez, 80 years old today. And delighted that he's managed to outlive many of his competitors and among his most vocal critics. So there must be something to that kind of living that keeps him around. I mentioned earlier today, and I meant every word of it, I have the unique pleasure of getting to spend some time with him from time to time, more often than I probably deserve. And the way that the outpouring of affection, certainly from his family, which has got to be among the greatest blessings that you can have on top of living to the age of 80. But then, surrounding himself with friends. And he's got a bunch of new friends. He's got some young friends, right? But it amazes me, and about my favorite time is when we get together in the backyard or the front yard of his place, and you see friends, people that he has known since he was a little boy, and they are still gangs. You know what I mean? That's something else. So happy 80th birthday to former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez, and I hope I get to say some nice things about you on your 90th birthday, which we're all happily counting down to. Frankly, I hope I get to say some nice things at your next inauguration.
Yeah.
Oh, I just had to throw that in. I'm sorry. There's somebody over at Adeloop that was going, okay, Twitch. I like it so far. Pretty soon, okay, it says Biba Company on news. It's just a happy birthday thing. Crap, he said something about Governor Gutierrez and the inauguration. That's it. It's gone for the weekend. Sorry about that. Not sorry. It's at 9:47 in the morning. Can I let me, because it's small talk portion of the program. You know how it is, and especially on Fridays. We've had the pleasure of a bunch of topics this week, and it's true. I admitted it to you yesterday, and maybe I have before, but yesterday I felt like I was being more sincere because I said, let's be honest. Remember, I was like, If I'm honest with myself, if I'm honest to you, I'm looking at the news and I'm just having a hard time finding things that I'm passionate about in the news, because I don't know what is going to be the catalyst for change. You get the paperwork that came out from the epidemiologist and the folks over at the Department of Public Health and Social Services, and you go, wow, is this going to make any kind of difference? I mean, looking at these numbers here, and yeah, they're up. We got that secondary surge from the Delta. We know that we've got breakthrough cases. We know that we've got deaths and hospitalizations and things like that. But the trending seems to be going down in all of those numbers. Still high, but trending in a certain direction. And I want to be positive, and I want to be, have really good feelings about this, but I just don't know where it ends up. That's the thing. We might be seeing this trending numbers drop, but is that making any difference in whether or not I can go? And if all of these bars existed right now, if all these restaurants exist, I couldn't go into them, right? And that's my choice. I'm not complaining. It's an observation, not a criticism. And that's just the way that the powers that be right now decide that that's what's going to be happening. And we're going, so what, do the numbers need to go back into single digits, into fractions of digits? We don't know. And that, I think, is the big contributor to what George Chu and the PDN is referring to as COVID-19 fatigue, as pandemic fatigue, which was predicted by Jerry Roberts that it was going to be happening. There's that story. I think the stories that I'm most passionate about today are the ones that fill me with the most anxiety, and that anxiety is where the hell are prices going to be going here? Where are we headed? this might be the brace. I hope that everybody that got all that extra money from the PUAs and the FPUCs and the LWAs, the lost wages, did you hold on to any of that stuff? And I'm not going to get all lectury here because I know how I am. Or did you live large? There was large living, right?
Yeah, Wagyu.
Wagyu. Somebody, this is how desperate we're getting. We're going on Facebook asking, somebody had posted a question on Facebook. So it's not the price so much as the availability. When was the last time you saw crab legs in the store?
It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while.
Right? It's
Even
not
the
just
main
it's not just me.
distributors, yeah.
I don't know. And people are apparently there might be this might be one of those things where we better start the guys that are shipping in crystal meth.
Yeah.
Forget about the meth, bro. That's low margin stuff now. You want to make money? You go and find some big king crab frozen legs and put them in a box with some of that dry ice, or not dry ice. What's the freezable stuff there, and a whole bunch of those, and just do the science and figure out how long what it takes to get one of those things from like the west coast of the United States to Guam. Forget about crystal methamphetamine. We need to start Rice Krispies, the Krispies treat. Even the Rice Krispies people say that's going to be going away. You're not going to be able to maintain the supply on all of that stuff. So I would start hoarding that now, because a Rice Krispies treat here, what do they cost now? $5 for a box of them, dude. $100.
Marshmallows, the butter.
$100. But what? Let me show me the color of your money. PayPal me first. PayPal me first. Better yet. Hey girl, want some Rice Krispies treat? Never mind fancy restaurants, baby. If that, and we've had experience in this. The Japanese corn puffs.
Oh, yeah. Meiji,
Japanese corn puffs. Yes. You remember when they stopped making that? And all of a sudden, everybody was going crazy, checking. Forget about the central mom and pop stores. We're pretty sure they're already out of their Meiji Japanese corn puffs. But man, I was down in Pagat, Manila. I checked out this one little mom and pop store, dude. They had like 5 or 6 bags. I bought it all. Sell that on eBay. We're gonna go out there and put that on Guam's Grab, dude. I got Meiji chips. So we know about that kind of thing. 952 fuel surcharge notification effective middle of November. The prices for the fuel surcharge. This is not the price. This is additional to the already great prices that you can see as we're trying to import things from the mainland. An additional 39.5% of the till is going to be fuel surcharges, and no doubt that's probably going to have an impact on the cost of the beer that we drink and the spam that we eat, and my Van Camp's corn, pork and beans, and the Hormel chili no beans, that kind of thing. It's going to have an impact, and who knows, maybe on some of the other things. What was it that Charlie Hermosa said? What's he investing in? Toilet paper and bacon.
Oh,
those are the two things that you're going to need to get your hands on real soon, and protect. And protect, as they say. 888-8255-888-TALK is the telephone number here at the radio station. Just a little bit longer to use all of that stuff. And I'm looking to see if there's anything else in some of the paperwork that I had printed out that is worth mentioning. Joint Region Marianas initiates actions to meet mandatory COVID-19 vaccine requirements for DOD civilians in the region. Yeah. I don't work for anybody work with anybody that I know. This is not going to affect me or any of the employees here at this radio station. So for all intents and purposes, not a big deal. However, it doesn't look like some of the people that I go to that will regularly get me supplies and things from base. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to continue to do all of those kinds of things. There's a couple of, and I don't, I think I'm going to save these for Monday. I got a couple of interesting magistrate reports here. One that you might have heard, Candid was making a big deal about a guy named Jose who got into an altercation with the girlfriend in the car. Rule number 1: don't beat up your girlfriend while you're actually holding drugs on you. This is not going to go well. We've got unlawful restraint, family violence, and possession of a Schedule II controlled substance as a third degree. Operative words from the magistrate reports. Jose said, "Sir, I'm not going to lie. I've got drugs in my back pocket." All right, so this is another one of those moments where we recognize the fact here that drugs will make you stupid. Drugs will make you stupid, and we've got proof right here. And it's not admitting that he had it. It's apologizing for it to the cop. Hey, man, I'm sorry. Sir, I'm not going to lie to you. Like the cop's going to go, you know, boy, thank you for being honest with me. Go ahead and go back to beating up your girlfriend. I'll just sit back, okay? You just do what you got to do. You know, what was the guy thinking? I don't know how that got there. That's why I'm mad at my girlfriend, because she put that in my pocket. It's not mine. Sir, I'm not going to lie to you. Like, I'm just doing my best here as a druggie, and maybe you could see, letting me go if that's all right. Then you got another one of a guy. I'd never heard of this before, but this guy, Lewis. Young ladies, if there's a guy named Lewis that wants to date you and he's got stories of literally trying to burn his ex-girlfriend's car, maybe don't date this guy. You should always ask. You know, it's like first date, or you're just like hanging out on social media. Hey, you know, maybe girls to some of these guys. Hey, are there any restraining orders against you currently or in the past? You know, because it seems to me, after reading a number of these magistrate reports here on family violence and unlawful restraint, there's probably not a whole lot of young guys on Guam that can say they've never had a restraining order on them. Real, Joe?
No, I've never had a restraining order.
Never had a restraining order.
If you want to date me, I want to see your police clearance.
Make sure that you don't have one either, right? Because there's some badass chicks in this town now. They're getting violent, man. What? Anyway, so this story about this guy, Lewis, it's this girl, Junie's. Yeah. Junie's ex-boyfriend, Lewis. And they'd already broken up, and he had already gotten in trouble with the cops for stalking. Now it is advanced stalking. On top of that, there's arson because he tried to blow up her car. I didn't see anything in here about any kind of drugs, but it's probably in there. There's criminal mischief and, of course, a violation of court orders. And he's already, I think he's on probation already. And I'm not 100% sure on how this is supposed to work out. But end of the day, if he's on probation already, and then he violates the court order that says he was supposed to stay away and not try to blow up his ex's truck, then they can put him in jail, right?
Automatic, yeah.
Automatic.
They throw him in there.
Okay, well,
it's a violation, man.
See if you can watch out for this story and pray that that's necessarily the case. But I really think there ought to be things, you know, vaxxed versus unvaxxed, and then you've got people with restraining orders on them or no restraining orders, and probably also might help. You know, like if you're a guy and maybe you want to date a particular girl, maybe you should find out if she's ever had a restraining order on somebody else, because you know you don't want to be like at Two Lovers Point having a good time with her, and all of a sudden here comes this psycho ex that's already got charges of advanced stalking on him, right?
Oh yeah,
you know where my head's at. A couple of minutes away from 10 o'clock in the morning, and I suppose that might be it. I think we've hit everything on the table of contents. Although I've got to say, you know, I've given the PDN a hard time on the editorial, and I tell you what, guys, really, if that's the way you feel about people that don't want to get vaccinated and don't want to get tested every week, if you think that the ultimate answer to the problem and you think this is going to be the solution and our salvation from COVID-19 is to fire them, yeah, I don't know that you're ever going to see a subscription from me ever again. I mean, I've been holding it off. I got to grab an extra buck out of my change thing, you know, every day to go and buy a PDN. But if that's the kind of crap that I can look forward to from your editorial department, I don't know that I need you in my media landscape anymore. Frankly, I can get it online if I absolutely need the story. 9:58 and change. So I was going to leave you with that thought there. And that might be the last thought of the program.
494.9.
What?
They said they just changed the gas prices on the sign.
494?
Yeah.
0.9.
494.9, yeah.
80. Where did I say it was? 84. $84.66 for a barrel of Tapas crude. That's a terrible way to end the show, but in a good way, because I was telling everybody, put gas in your car while it's still $4.85. It's gone up a dime, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Friday on Guam. At least this time they didn't wait until after 10, so don't be surprised when you pass by. Might still be a couple of places where the gasoline is still cheap at $4.85. Take advantage of all of that. Hey, I got to go because it's Friday of me, and my weekend is about to get started. The usual rules apply. For Real Joe, Mata Silva Tyrant, and Jerry Roberts, this is Ray Gibson saying thanks so much for listening. Welcome to Friday. Hope you have a great weekend. And the rule is if you see me out after midnight anywhere on Guam, send me home. And if you're hot like Natalie, take me home. You got a bench seat in that front, right? Nice, like the old days. Shoot. Ted, here's Fox News on the point.
He's learned his fate. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. New York real estate heir Robert Durst has been sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for the murder of Susan Berman, a woman he called his best friend 21 years ago.
Berman's cousin and others spoke, including her adopted son, Sarah Kaufman, who said he's still totally broken over his mother's murder.
You also murdered me. You murdered the person I was, all his dreams and all his hopes gone. He no longer exists. I am a whisper, a wraith of who I once was. My mother's murder and the events of the last 40 years will never leave me. You satisfied, Bob?
Before sentencing Durst to life in prison, the judge said Susan sounded like an incredible woman. Durst's attorneys have indicated they will appeal. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Prosecutors in New York are reopening the cold case of Durst's wife, Kathy, who disappeared in 1982. Her body has never been found.